They fantasize, I analyze, I am the eyes. Yeah. They stand and lie, I stand in truth. That's my I am alive, I am alive, I am alive. I channel God, the frequency lives inside. Delinquencies leap aside, just look inside. I promise you'll find bodies the synagogue. You lie to self, then you sin to God. I take the end of lines, put it in a loop, then I tie a knot. This eternal life, this is Heka'u. We can never die, we are immortalized. They live mortal lives. I am more than man, I have God inside. Whoa. Opened the door and then I got inside. Found my inner child, gave him a hug, told him I love him, we gon' be alright. And then I gave a smile, you made me more than proud. Shed some tears, let us scream aloud, a stand in pride. Grabbed his hand, it was the hand of God, our fingers five. Double time, we put hands to sky. Raise them high, raise them high. This is dua. Praise himself, praise each other, praise to health, that is the root to wealth. Praise comes from per, and it means to sell. See, that's what preachers do, buying souls, selling hell. Disguised as heaven, pushing P. Differences between prophet and prophecy. The Bible is a prop to see the lies of man, portraying God open-eyed to see. Read. Telling tales of wanderings, I've been wondering, they don't know that we're the real wonders. Miracles, when I speak it thunders, literal. You feel it under your flesh when your organs start to rumble. Heartbeat, you're listening to vibrations as my heart speaks. Stretch minds, I have far reach. Raj General, this is our me. This is pinnacle. Step on sinister. Everyone is demons these days. Trust me, once you step to us, you will not leave as you came. See, we ain't the same, raising names. Real fame comes from Ba. It means to speak, to say. I have lots to say. My ancestors taught me how to pray, ask and receive. Given that you live in reciprocity, our Ba shall speak through you to give our message of praise. Hands raised, this is dua. This is dua. Light body emerges Kaaba. Give me high five. Hands up. This ain't a stick up. This is dua. Giving praise. They're only giving praise when they receive a raise. Like thank God. I receive a raise as I rise up every single day. Raise comes from res, giving life the sun's rays, hands embrace. Consciousness extinct, even the ones who think they are woke are still asleep. Resi means to watch and it deals with what you see. Resi means to dream and it's the tongue of the speech. Watch what you speak, bring dreams to reality. Watchtower, watch me tower over with power. This is more than album, this is pure magic. Creation vibrations, layers on layers. Prayers on prayers, demon slayers, soul cakes of fire, caught up in a rapture like I need a baker. The Lord has risen, watch the bread rise, to give sustenance. I've seen death eyes, the moon is my left eye. Praise Yah, dua. This is House of Aten. I don't have a mask on, I'll tell you all what happened. I see they got the facts wrong, flow fluid. Walk with ancestors like Anpu is. Who's this? Greek named Anubis. Prove it. I see bodies walking around soulless, clueless. Ani Ptah, don't compare me to Steve Jobs. Call me Ptah Sakar. If you need to do more research, search Ray. Hands in vagina place when pray. Spitting seeds into the womb to birth and raise. See, that's parades. Give thanks like it's in your hands. Collecting plates, ancient stele. Step through fire, see we trailblaze. Fate and faith, this is knowledge. Facts will flip a fake. Tell me what's at stake to give thanks. Hands raised, this is dua. This is dua. Light body emerges Kaaba. Give me high five. Hands up. This ain't a stick up. This is dua. can feel the roof gone. Just look up, I am proof. Breaking doors down, make some room. My is now speaking through me, and trust me, this is who you will respect if you choose or not. It is now, not soon. You are not the same as I. We do not have the same sight. We do not have the same eye. We don't just talk, we apply. From the waters in the sky, I spoke my name into life. I spoke my name to bring life, to bring life. Look outside and all I see are people double-minded. People meaning creature, don't ignore the signage. Voices lead though flying silent. Observation with my eye open eyelid. Look outside and all I see are people double-minded. People meaning creature. Scribal Sessions Volume 1. For the record. Open your eye in alignment with time and you'll see the truth like it's a physical thing. From the darkness I arise, so it's not a surprise when you learn of the light that I bring. As above, so below, I find a rhythm and flow as I grow with the pendulum swing. This is the matrix where everyone's faking they sleep here in life while we wake up in dreams. Shedding the skin like a serpent, this work makes it worth it. Attaining a purpose while searching internal, examine what all is in me. Most will not make it, so can I take it? Reality shaking, you've seen what I've seen. Reap what you sow, with the weavers of speech, achievers, and this is the read 'em and weed 'em. You cannot read in vibrations that none of them speak. Walk a metal netter, light as feather is heavy to learn that your will isn't free. Natural willing, I continue to lead with my ebas. I'm sweeping my consciousness clean. Training in realms that are unseen. My aura is summing set fire to all of the fiends. Stand on my octave is all seeing. I we supply 93, that means we are supreme. Healing through tones on my senses, connecting and this year wealthy is health, this is green. This is illusion, reality veiled in delusion. Thoughts become intrusive, it's foolish to not know by now that it ain't what it seems. This is way more than belief. I see clearly the lines. My six senses of sight are hypnotized. No wonder everyone sleeps. It's time to set off the alarm. The performance of form. Don't you know you're a star? God in human form and you rise with the beast. More than man. Bread in my hand, that's the Lord in hand. Heard what I said, Lord, live in the man. Light is sought after, it's in the man. Come from the inundation lands. Light is sought after, it's in the man. Come from the inundation lands. We ain't the same man. Record keeper. Seeing the state of the planet, the damage, the famines expanding beyond your belief. I see they landed, they've handed the people a cannon and aiming it right at your feet. Blowing a hole where you're standing, creating the panic. The tactical planning is deep. Teaching you're only a man and the God is in heaven, the seventh outside of your reach. If you're the question, they'll call you a manic, frantic, erratic, depression, demonic. When you're teaching through the magical speech, they'll call you serpent, the one in the garden. Pardon my knowledge for having the knowledge and prowess to see. He really told the truth to Adam and Eve. You'll have to think between good and evil if you eat of the fruit of the tree. Now you're a god, open your eye, cleansing yourself so that now you can see. They stole the stories and twisted them like it's a spliff. They put the fire to leaf, I put the fire to speech. I put the fire to heat. We don't do liars and thieves, they just desire to greed. This is my record to keep, this is my throne. You cannot sit in my seat, and I command it. I give more than 10 commandments. This is the law of attraction, and we have infinite stamina. My stage is where I'm standing. This is my eye, God is in me. I only keep goddesses with me. They are the magical beings, they are the holy ones, birthing the gods. We're overcoming the odds. We are the even and odd. They're in the odds, we're in the all. Ancestors answer my prayers, forever grateful. I will forever say thank you. Inspiration to awake the sleepers. Record keeper, more than man. Bread in my hand, that's the Lord in hand. Heard what I said, Lord, live in the man. Light is sought after, it's in the man. Come from the inundation lands. Light is sought after, it's in the man. Come from the inundation lands. We ain't the same man. Record keeper, more than man. Bread in my hand, that's the Lord in hand. Heard what I said, Lord, live in the man. Light is sought after, it's in the man. Come from the inundation lands. Light is sought after, it's in the man. Come from the inundation lands. We ain't the same man. Record keeper.
You and your family health and prosperity. May your monument be established on the foundations of Ma'at, and may you rise and come forth as conscious light, like the divine Ra, who rise and shine forever on Ma'at. Ptah.
I look outside and all I see are people double-minded. People meaning creature, don't ignore the signage. Voices lead though flying silent. Observation with my eye open eyelid. Look outside and all I see are people double-minded. People meaning creature, don't ignore the signage. Voices lead though flying silent. Observation with my eye open eyelid. I am him. King, crown, rings, Nesu, I am in. Mindset of when fighting jinns. Sword, swing, samurai, I am Shim. Su, Hor, son of Heru, I am him. King, crown, rings, Nesu, I am in. Mindset of when fighting jinns. Sword, swing, samurai, I am Shim. Su, Hor, son of Heru. Words, powerful, Hekau. See, prove, you can feel the roots. Gone, just look up, I am proof. Breaking doors down, make some room. But I is now speaking through me and trust me.
What's up? Peace and love, everybody. Welcome to the House of Aten. Study Guide Sundays, Ancient Tehuti and Teachings of the Natiru presents the Hymns to Aten, the Hymns to Ausar Part 2, Ancient Kemetic Literature. Before we begin, we will do as we do every week with our beautiful affirmation. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Unki Ema'at, Un N-S, Nintet AUSET Ema'at, Min Hepapet Ema'at, Her Inhu Kui, Per Iku. I live for Ma'at. I exist within her. I do not speak in the place of Ma'at. Every day I advance towards Ma'at. My being is surrounded in darkness. I come forth as conscious light. Peace and love, everybody. I'm going to introduce the great brother. Scribe Ani Ptah Aten Tehuti is a teacher of knowledge, a spoken word artist, a creator awakening the sleepers and healing the chosen ones through sound vibrational tone and conscious thought. He's the Sob, the wisdom door opener, and the lead organizer of the House of Aten movement. Next, we have the mighty Menku Ra Mary Ma'at, is a student of the master teacher Saba Tehuti Amenhotep Ra and a follower of Ma'at. Menku Ra is the Heb, the festivities organizer in the House of Aten, cultural enlightenment advisor and a teacher, the developer of the Pathways of Awakening, a director and producer of documentaries, a researcher of ancient civilizations, and the researcher of the knowledge of spells. Next, we have the mighty Primordial Thought 9, is the seeker of divine wisdom. The wisdom with universal structure. The wisdom that remains the same from every perspective. The wisdom that adapts to any interaction. The wisdom that creates silence. The wisdom that sustains the House of Aten. And your presenter for the night is me, the mighty Atef Rem Kema'at. I'm the esteemed steward of the Venerable House of Aten. As a devoted disciple of the master teacher, the illustrious Tehuti Amenhotep Ra, I proudly undertake the role of the sagacious host for the weekly gathering within our sacred halls of the House of Aten. Here we delve into the profound teachings that illuminate the path of Ma'at. In the sacred sanctuary of the House of Aten, I guide fellow seekers on a journey of enlightenment and understanding. Drawn from the wellspring of ancient wisdom, our gatherings are profound explorations into the depths of truth, meticulously deciphered through the lens of ancestral artifacts and the profound teachings bestowed upon us by the great Tehuti Amenhotep Ra. My commitment to the pursuit of wisdom extends beyond the confines of our weekly gatherings. As a true-hearted devotee of truth, I strive to embody the essence of Ma'at in all aspects of life, express an unwavering love for my people. My soul resonates with the harmonious frequencies of the metal natural. I stand as a loyal guardian of Ma'at, steadfastly defending the sacred principles that govern our existence within the House of Aten. Welcome, everybody, to Study Guide Sundays. Peace and love.
Yes, Hotep Great Brothers, Henu. I want to give a Hotep to the Great Brother Primordial Thought 9, as he won't be joining us for this particular class, but sending him great Hotep and Uachet healing energy. So to what you, Great Brother. Yes, Henu to the Great Brothers. We see Menku Ara Mary Ma'at is out. Hotep, Great Brother.
Peace, peace, Hotep. It's a beautiful day. I did not want to be inside today, so right now I'm in my car by the lake. Just wanted to be out in nature, being by the water. So I am in my vehicle right now. So Hotep, Henu, peace and love, everyone.
Love your dedication, great brother. This is great. You need to be outside because this is going to be a Nefer ride I'm going to take you on. So it's great that you're already in your vehicle.
Yeah, before the I won't say that. Never mind. But yeah, we definitely gonna be on a ride. Sails up. Let's hit those waters. So yes, Hotep and Henu. Tua to everyone who is here with us. Peace and love to everyone who's watching on the playback. Dua, Henu to you. Let's give some shout outs. Here we have the lovely Antu here who says Tua HOA Ku Simu M Ma'at at Kerb Bin Sin Isfet. And the great moderator Anu, thank you, HOA, the shining ones who live upon right and truth without deceit. They abominate wickedness. Hotep Henu to Anu and Antu, Tua, great brother and sister, for always being who you are. As you see, Anu has the wrench here, so he is our moderator. He'll be posting all of the links for the House of Aten. So any questions regarding where you can find certain things, this great brother will provide those links for you. So Tua and Henu. And I also want to give a Henu for Antu, who is our social media manager, who does a very nefer job at making sure that we always are having consistent content posted to our social media platforms. And I'll show how you can, where you can find that. And the great brother Anu can put the Linktree link in there as well. So Tua and Hotep. We have the wonderful Angela Gates, peace and love and prosperity. Hotep, Marie, watch it to you, Angela Gates, Tua for being here with us, as you always are, Henu and Hotep. We have the great brother Hefe, one of the Karu here with us, Hotep family, peace to you, vigilant neighbor, peace and love, peace and Marie, Hotep, Tua, vigilant neighbor. I think this may be the first time I've seen you here with us, unless you have a new name, but peace, glad to have you. Thank you for being here. So yes, Hotep Henu, houseofaten.org. Go and get your merch. Go get your merch, House of Aten. The Natiru exist. Go get your merch. Go get your notebooks. As you see here, we have all type of, notes, Netu practice. In the House of Aten, the Natiru Exists notebook with the Purim Haru on there, and working on many different designs for everyone. We have bathroom sets. We have everything that you need to start off. So Tua and Henu to everyone who's supporting the House of Aten. That's also how you join through the membership there, the Kuru. And let me show that just momentarily. Houseofaten.org, and I will share the screen so you all can see, for anyone new who is here. So this is the website. This is where the shop is. We have all types of things for everyone: suitcases, desk mats. I have a large desk mat here with my Ankh with me at all times. My light glasses for when I'm in my studies. I always make sure to have some form of eye protection on. So it's a great addition, and also use this desk mats for Hotep rituals and offerings and things of that nature. So you can get that here. We have phone cases as well here, and you see I have I have one of the first here, phone cases here. So we have everything here for everyone. The apparel, hoodies, short sleeve, long sleeve, sweatshirts, youth for the children. Come here and support. For every dollar you spend, you get one what's called a Hotep point. And every 100 Hotep points, you can redeem that for 10% off. So it's a beautiful reciprocity system that has been built into the website here. So many different colors for you all. So come and support through this. Rep the merchandise. Again, bathroom sets, towels, shower accessories, bath mats. We have everything for you and continuously growing. Workout bottles, tumblers. We have everything. Notebooks. So we have the one that I just showed, which is the spiral notebook. And we also have hard covers for your journaling, for your drawings. So you can utilize it for your Heka rituals, dream books to document your dreams. Always teach and recommend to keep record of your experiences when you are in what we taught as the Upesh, which is from the root word up, and it means to open up, and it was the glyph of the bull horns. So we use that to open up. And one of the other Medu words for dream is res or rezi, and it means to rise up, and it's the glyph of an eye, and it means to be a watch, to watch. It's a watchtower, to be awake. So it's important to keep documentation of your upesh, and it assists you in being able to utilize the heka'u and the seka'u, which is the word for memory, and seka is also the word for scribe as well. So we document so we can maintain a memory and do works in the realms that we frequent almost as much as you are awake in this realm. So utilize these books for those heka, for those travels, and whatever else you may need to use them for. So very powerful, and of course being embedded. And we've done many classes. The Great Saba Tehuti has done classes on Dr. Emoto, who shows how water maintains a memory, and even just from what the water is surrounded by can alter the molecular structure of the substance. So it's important that what you use and what's it covered in, what frequency is covering that which you are using. So clothes, what's covering your body, what words, all of this has a sound vibrational tone. So we're reestablishing what the great ancestors brought forth, and that is imbuement of every aspect of your life, which allows you to subconsciously be aware and be awake of everything that is taking place and has a piece of control of your life. So Hindu and Hotep to everyone who's supporting and utilizing the Heka'u that we're bringing forth. We have the ebooks from the Great Saba Tehuti, Stepping Out of the Matrix, Volume 1, and Melanin Dark Consciousness. Get these 2 ebooks. As soon as you purchase them, you'll be able to download them. You'll get a download link to your email instantly. So utilize that. And here's the House of Aten membership. This is how you join the movement and assist us in growing and expanding and bringing this information to the masses of people. So we definitely give great hinu to all the Karu. As you see here, Keru Ua, Keru Sin, and Keru Kemet. It's 1, 2, and 3. It's the Medu Neter words for 1, 2, and 3. So we have 3 different levels. And Keru is the Medu Neter word for a household member. So this is how you join. As soon as you join, you'll have access to this section here, member access only, classes, debates, and Ma'at Fundamental Fridays. So this is just some of the things that we have available specifically for the Karu. You can also join us here on YouTube. You can hit the join button right next to the subscribe button, and the debates. As you see, it's blocked off unless you are signed in and you are a member. But there are debates that are available to the Karu, whether you're a supporter here on YouTube or you're a Patreon member. So you can also join the Patreon. So here's our social media, Discord community. Click the link tree. All of our sources are here. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Follow us on all these platforms, as well as the Patreon here. The Patreon is here, House of Aten. We have a $5 membership tier. And we also have the Pathways to Awakening, the digitized experience. So we have a yearly gathering in California called the Pathways to Awakening that the great brother Minku Ara Mary Ma'at so beautifully brought forth for all of us to come together and meet in the flesh. And so we record these, and this year we'll be live streaming. We'll have better footage, and but this year right here, which was 2023, was phenomenal. There's the Ren ritual of one of our great Karu. There's a Ren ritual of the movement, the organization, because prior we were teachings of Ma'at, and now we are the House of Aten, and the great Saba Tehuti gave a beautiful explanation as to why that is. Live performances. I did a live performance of many of my tones and songs that I bring forth to the communities, and very powerful. So it's $35, very affordable for all that you get. It's over an hour worth of footage, so you can purchase this as well on the Patreon. But Truth Ministries versus Saba Tehuti live debate. Yasha Ben Israel, he asked Saba many questions. So you can watch this with a membership. Whether you're a Karu, you can watch it on the website, or if you're a member here on YouTube, you can also watch it.
He asked Saba 4 questions.
Say again?
I said, did he ask Saba 4 questions? That was a joke.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was like, I have 12 questions for you. And I think it got up to like 20 something. So yeah, it was excellent. So everyone, make sure you matter of fact, let's watch a preview here. Let's see.
Yeah, that's great. He said, I only asked 7 questions, 4 questions. He said 4.
Right. It's like, I don't seem like 4. Well, let me share the screen so you can hear it. And I'll show the preview for everyone. For those who have not seen this, Chrome tab, Patreon. Okay, here we go. Hold on, let me let me sign out. Okay. I want you all to see this. Okay, there we go. View, share screen, Chrome tab, and there we go. And here we are. That was oops, wrong one. There we go. Patreon/House of Aten.
Atef Rem, am I up?
Well, that actually depends on the topic. That actually really depends on the topic, because European education to cover everything from math to geometry, geology, science, English. It depends. I don't send my children to any European school, so I don't advocate so-called European education. But if someone is getting any type of paperwork in a mathematical educational forum in a European college, I wouldn't denounce that or speak badly upon it. I would give them the history of where math originated from, but I don't have any problem with European math per se. The European history, yes.
So, you basically would not advocate going to European colleges and universities studying Egyptology and stuff like that?
I would. It depends. It really depends on the situation. I speak to people that are going to college.
So yes, all the great members can come here and watch this, and you see there was 2 questions right there in a matter of 2 minutes. So yeah. But yes, Hotep Hinu, to all the great members, and yes, it's a beautiful thing. So again, this is the House of Aten, and let me put the support links down at the bottom, and you see it scrolling at the bottom there, Cash App and PayPal, House of Aten, and I will put up the overlay for everyone, for those who are watching on your screens or on your computers. If you rather just run it through your phone, you can scan this QR code and it will take you directly to the links. And if you do not have Cash App or PayPal, then you can support through the website. So when you go to houseofaten.org, you can go to donate here, add the donation tip jar to your cart like that. And whenever you go to check out, it'll ask you, let me make sure nothing is going to show here. But yes, it'll ask you to add a tip, and you can add a tip there. So once you go here and you go to donate, just add this to your cart. When you go to checkout, you'll see add tip. So Tuat Hinu, to everyone who supports the House of Aten, which is a reciprocity system that is being implemented here. We give you classes, we give you teachings, we give you readings of the ancient literature. We bring forth talent shows and so many things that we bring forth, and all that we ask in return is just support for what we're doing. So Tua, Hotep and Hinu. And before I pass it to the great brother, I will show some support that came in during the week, because we had some very Nefer support throughout the week of the wonderful sisters who came forward, which was Nefer Keperet, who gave a class on an Upesh that she had, and took us through that journey and made some beautiful connection between the Maya, what's known as the Maya or the Yucatacan language, and the Medu Neter, which has never been done, especially to the detail and extent that she did it. So Tuan Hotep to Nefer Keperet and Nefer Taten, who brought forth a class going into the 14 Ka'u of Ra. Very deep class. She went into the Hu and the Sa. So there are no sisters teaching what we teach here at the House of Aten, which is ancestral artifacts over religious opinion, and on that level. So Hotep and Hinu to the great sisters, Tua for everyone who supported. And I will show the screen for the great brother who supported after those classes, which is Robert E. Williams Jr. This great brother supports every single class. Hotep Hinu, he sends in 2072 for Nefer Keperet, Maya Connections, Tua. To that great brother. And he also sent in 2072 for Nefer Tatenet, Genius of Ra. Atef, I think you have the background noise because it sounds muffled.
It's not.
Yeah, it sounds a little muffled. To the great brother Robert E. Williams Jr., Hinu, great brother, for supporting and just being a part of the House of Aten. Hope to see you join us officially through the website, great brother. I would love to have you be a part of the membership of the House of Aten. So Tuan Hinu, great brother, We truly appreciate you and all the support that you give to the House of Aten, our great Saba Tehuti. Beautiful representation of appreciating that which brings you this information. So this great brother is leading by example. So Tuan Henu, and that's what the support looks like when you utilize the Cash App and the PayPal. And we shout every support that comes through for these classes. We definitely want to give you adoration and dua, and you become a part of the sound vibration Mer. Mer or Meru, which U is a word that is the glyph that is familiar to what many may know as the Fibonacci sequence. It's a swirl and it's a U. And when you put that on the end of a word, it makes a word plural, because that's what the swirl does. It's expanding as nature does. So Meru are supporters. It's the meta word for supporter or partisan. And it also is the word for the pyramids. Pyramid is not an actual ancient word. It's a Greek word, and we call them Mers. And it is also the word for beloved or to love. So we definitely love and appreciate and venerate all of our supporters for supporting what we're doing. So we give you much henu. And so, yes, be sure to utilize those links as the great brother Atef Rem goes through his reading in his class. I think he has something special for us. I can feel it. So we'll go ahead and...
How's my sound?
I don't play with pseudos.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Sound great now.
I do have something special. Yes, I do.
Okay.
I sure do.
Wonderful. Yes,
it's always special, brother.
Yes. Vigilant Neighbor says yes, first time. Okay, excellent. Welcome. And the great brother Tef said he's going to take us on a ride. So let's get ready for this ride, and let's go through. Peace, Nook Poo. Peace, great brother. He says Henu Imoto. Peace to you. Maharu is here with us. Henu HOA, Marie, love Ani Ptah, Hotep Henu Marie, great brother Maharu. And Nefer Keperet is here with us. Peace, Hotep Marie, Nefer Familia with a heart. We have Harass Did, LOL, aka Terry. It's Hotep Harass Did. And as the great Antu says, she says, if you haven't watched those teachings, I highly suggest you do. It is absolutely beautiful. Henu to the great sisters. Henu. Looking forward to you as well, Antu. So Tuan Henu. All right, great brother. Atef Rem Kim Ma'at. We'll go ahead and pass it to you. And
all right.
You're ready for this ride.
All right. Hotep. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love to the chat. Peace and love to everybody that supports. So let me just so Saba, when he ended his class, Henu to our great teacher yesterday, he asked me, he said, do you do any presentations anymore? And I said, yeah, I do. You know, I'm working on things, but you know, I mostly do the readings. You know, I read the literature of our ancestors. One of Saba's teachings, one of his classes, he spoke on how many papyruses were destroyed. I believe it was 400,000 of them were destroyed. You know, so I think it's just very important that we that I use the utterances and you know, echo the utterances of our ancestors, because me personally, I've watched hundreds, maybe thousands of episodes of Tom and Jerry. Me personally, I know who Bruce Banner turns into when he gets angry. I know why Spider-Man has those powers. You know, I'm very familiar with that. I'm familiar with who killed James St. Patrick. You know, but I'm not that familiar with the stories of our ancestors, the real stories, the ancestral artifacts over religious opinion. I'm not, and you know, I'm a baby in this. So my journey is Nefer, and I love it. And I'm honored to be a baby. So for me, when I started doing the readings, and initially it didn't start out as just the readings. I was doing presentations, and I will, because I'm a Saba, just like Saba told me I was. But at that time, I had no idea what that meant, and how I was to bring that forth. So, but right now, I'm doing a lot of the readings of the ancient literature because it's important to me, because I'm learning as I read and beginning to understand, how important. I know who killed JR. Yes, Angela Gates, exactly. So that's why this ancient literature is so very important to me. And the thing also is, when I began to look for the writings of, just what they said, I couldn't find a lot of it. I found some, but not very many. So I think it's important that I echo the utterances of our ancestors. And when Saba pointed out the books that we should get and how I should read them, the more I read, the more I begin to understand, the wiser I get. It's just, it expands my mind more so than, watching Tom chase Jerry, or, for hundreds of episodes, and Popeye. I know what happens when Popeye eats spinach. It's just this matrix that we're in. So I'm unlearning and relearning. So I just think it's very important. And then the Natiru that I'm reading about, I don't just pick the stories. It's almost like the stories pick me. It's like I try to find what I'm gonna read and what I'm gonna present, and all of that, and it's still challenging at times, because I don't understand a lot of the stuff that I'm reading. But what I like to do is I like to read exactly what they wrote. So I read. So I was in picking this, because this is a part 2 of Ausar, right? When I was looking for this, I stumbled upon Serapis, the story of Serapis, and Saba done some wonderful classes on who Serapis is. Ausar and the Apis bull, they combined it and created, who we today call Christ Jesus. So just but understanding, when I read these books, they have some context to it. And I read a lot of the about Ausar. I read a lot of the context, and it expands your mind, and it shows you a lot of things. The story of AUSET, it showed, it actually said, how they traced that, the story of Mary, back to that, in their own words, they said it. So go back and watch the reading that I did on AUSET, because it's very, very insightful, and it's very eye-opening. So I'm going to begin. This is part 2 to Ausar. So let me screen share, and I am going to take you guys on a ride. So stick around, because it's going to be interesting. So I am going to screen share. Let me see how we do this. I'm still learning how to use this. Oh, and I want to give a shout out to the sisters as well. Those were very, very, very excellent classes that you did, and so proud of you, and I'm proud of the house of Aten and what we're building as we're on this journey together. It's just very nefer. So Hinu to you, great sisters, and Hinu to all the Karu that have presented as well, that came with wonderful classes. The moderator and new, and the great primordial thought, who's now a regular. May you be well, my great brother. Let me go screen share. Go entire screen. Boom. Boom. No, if I'm screen sharing. Am I screen sharing? Okay, trying to see if I can see the chat.
Yes, you are screen sharing.
Screen sharing. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So this is Ausar part 2. This is the hymn to Ausar, and we're
Yes,
gonna
you
jump.
are screen sharing.
Screen sharing. Okay. Okay. We're
All
gonna
right,
jump
so this is Ausar part.
right into the right into it. So this is part 2. Again, we're reading from the Gods of the Egyptians. This book is easily obtainable on this is the Amazon link where you can go purchase it. This is what I did when Saba said the books that I should buy. What I did was I started putting them into my cart, and I ended up purchasing them. You know, little by little. I will buy one, and then next week I will buy another one. So I bought part 1, then I bought part 2, and I was just I had no idea what I was doing when I was doing it. I had no idea what this literature would mean to me. But we're going to begin. So this is the book, and you can get it for free too. You can go to different websites and you can borrow it. You know, it's very easily obtainable now. And we're going to be reading on page 153. And before we begin, I would like to start this out again with some etymology. Of course, I showed this last week, but I think it's important just to give this presentation some context. So myth is a noun. This is the Etymology Online Dictionary. Another great resource for breaking spells. And this and dates, Saba said. And even when he said that, I was like, I don't know. You know, I didn't understand it. But now I really do. And I encourage all of you to just pick words that you say, that you find yourself uttering throughout the day in English, and just look them up and trace the etymology of it. But anyway, the word myth is a noun from 1830, from French myth, 1818, and directly from modern Latin mythos, from Greek mythos, speech, thought, word, discourse, conversation, story, saga, tale, myth, anything delivered by word of mouth. So it's just a story, anything that was told word of mouth. Word of unknown origin, Beeks finds it quite possibly pre-Greek. Okay. Anyway, let's go on. We're going to be reading about the great brother Ausar, the great netter, the netter of the afterlife and fertility. I actually got this from this picture from the Penn Museum. As I'm researching, I'm finding so many Nefer resources that I use that are very, very basic. But for me, they help me a lot. So this is Ausar, Osiris. Of course, this is the Greek word is Osiris, but it's Ausar, the netter of the afterlife and fertility, new life, married to AUSET and father of Heru, murdered by his brother Seth, but brought back to life by AUSET, usually depicted as a Sahu man with green or black skin, holding a crooked flail. In ancient Egypt, a flail is a rod with 3 beaded strands attached to the top. Ancient Egyptians believed that he judged the souls of the dead and decided whether they were worthy of entering the afterlife. He was linked with the annual flooding of the Nile River, which brought new plant life, just like he was brought back to life. He's part of the Ennead, and last week my last presentation, I showed some of the Ennead, but we're not going to go through that today. I just wanted to show the great brother Ausar standing on Ma'at right there. Beautiful picture. So I want to jump to real quick to ABC News. This was an article that came out. The date is there. It's January 3rd, 2015. It says NBC News, very reputable news source. I'm pretty sure a lot of people obtain their information from NBC News. This is a reputable, quote unquote, news source. It says ancient replica of there's that word again, mythical tomb of Osiris unearthed in Egypt. A Spanish-Italian archaeological team says it has discovered an ancient replica of the tomb associated with Ausar, the netter of the dead, in Egypt's Sheikh Ab el-Qurna necropolis. The multi-level structure is thought to have been built sometime between 750 BC and 525 BC, the 25th to 26th dynasty, based in part on its architectural similarity to the Osiris tomb at the Temple of Seti I in Abydos, also known as the Osirian. The find was announced this week by the Egyptian Antiquities Ministry and the Men Project. That's a wonderful name. A venture involving Spanish and Italian archaeologists. The tomb complex is said to include a large hall supported by 5 pillars, with the staircase leading down to a central temple with the carving of Ausar. A funerary chamber to the west of the temple reportedly features reliefs of guardian demons brandishing knives. Still more passageways go tens of meters further underground, and the bottom 2 chambers are still filled with debris. For more about the discovery, check out the accounts from Ancient Origins and Luxor Times Magazine, as well as Spanish something is blocking, I can't see. But I went and I looked up Luxor Times Magazine. It was beautiful. Their introduction page just showed our temples, and it was just absolutely nefer. And I was like blown away because the color and the detail of what's still there right now is absolutely fascinating to me. But let's look at this this right here, Osirian. Let's see what that is. Let's take a look at that. So Osirian, the Osirian is believed to be the cenotaph of Seti I, located to the rear of the Temple of Seti I in Abydos, Egypt. The temple was built in the 13th century BC, and many researchers believe the Osirian dates from the same time period. Seti I ruled from 1294 BCE to 1279 BCE. The layout and construction, the Osirian is part of the Temple of Seti I's complex. It may have been built to resemble the tombs in the Valley of the Kings. It is located centrally behind the main part of the Temple of Seti I, along an east-west axis. Most of its structure would have been subterranean. That means underground, for those of you unfamiliar with the term. It was built at a considerably lower level than the foundations of the Temple of Seti I. However, most of the roof has been lost. There's an entrance tunnel that runs along a north-south axis behind the Osirian Central Hall. It is 69 meters long and stone-lined. The Central Hall is constructed with a very large stone blocks, limestone interior with sandstone facing. The roof would have been formed of large granite beams. The hall contains a stone-paved island in the center, surrounded by a channel of water, and the depth of which is yet to be determined. The water is at least 10 meters, which is 34 feet, and connects to an underground water source. There are 17 small chambers in the hall's walls, and behind the wall opposite the entrance, there is a sarcophagus chamber. Let's take that in for 1 second. 34 feet deep. Anyway, construction date. While with regard to mind you, I got this from Wikipedia, okay? With regard to the depth of the building, its untypical architecture, style, and its mythological context, there is a disagreement as to its true age. So it exists, but it's a myth. It's mythological context. Okay. Anyway, the Egypt Exploratory Society excavations uncovered an ancient mark. Ma'atri Seti I is beneficial to Osiris. It is believed to be the ancient name given to the subterranean structure. The EES came to the conclusion that it was built during the reign of Seti, as detailed in its report published in 1933. In his 1998 dissertation on Seti I, P.J. Brand emphasized the numerous cartouches of Seti I and agreed with EES. It can be dated confidently to Seti's reign. Now, it says the purpose, since the water is connected to an underground water source, it could have been used as a well. Graffiti by Egyptian priests in the dynasties found in the long entrance passage, the vaulted galleries mentioned by Strabo hint at its function. The hidden secret place of the underworld, the Duat of Seti I, and more specifically and revealing as the birth house of Auset. Very, very interesting. And if you look at this picture right here, this is a picture from the article. It was attached to the article. Is a picture. If you look really close back there, you'll see, looks like a Ausar right there. I see the Atef crown back there. And it says, announced by Antiquities Minister Muhammado al-Damakati, the tomb of men is based on the mythological tomb of Ausar, complete with shafts, chapel, and a large hallway, a burial chamber, carving seen here, and even a statue of the Neter. Very, very interesting. But if you look back there, there's a beautiful, looks like a statue, or it's carved into the wall. I can't really tell, but I definitely see the Atef crown. I see, looks like a Ausar back there. Maybe, maybe not. This is a picture of the top of the area that they excavated. Very, very, very intricate, you know. So it's just a lot of detail, a lot of attention to detail, a lot of work and effort went into building this mythological tomb. This is another picture that I obtained that shows inside. There's a picture of the sarcophagus, as they call it. It's very big, it's huge. Right there to the left of the screen. I don't know how it shows for you guys, but it's right there. And this is the architecture of the tomb is unusual because it represents a model of the, there goes again, mythical tomb of Ausar, of which the most obvious replica is known so far in Abydos. And you can see how it has many shafts and it goes underground and it goes very far under the ground, like it's subterranean. So I just wanted to show everyone this, just to give some context, just to show, because again, I've watched hundreds of episodes of Tom and Jerry, and I actually gained nothing from watching that. So I just want to show you guys some of the things that I've been able to uncover. I mean, all you have to do is examine, just look, and it's very easy to find. So again, we're going to start the Hymn to Ausar on page 153. And we'll go here. Screen sharing, boom. There we go. Can you guys see? Right here, page 153. And we're going to jump right into the Hymn to Ausar. Hymns to Osiris and Osiris Un-Nefer from the Book of the Dead, per M. Heru. Glory be to thee, Osiris Un-Nefer, the great Neter who dwelleth within Abydos, thou King of eternity, thou Lord of everlastingness, who passeth through millions of years in the course of thine existence. Thou art the eldest son of the womb of Nut, and thou wast engendered by Seb, the ancestor. Thou art the Lord of the crowns of the south and north. Thou art the Lord of the lofty white crown. And as prince of the Natiru and men, thou hast received the crook and the whip and the dignity of his divine fathers. Let thine heart, O Osiris, who art in the mountain of Amentet, be content. For thy son Heru established upon thy throne. Thou art crowned Lord of Tetu and ruler of Abtu, Through thee the world waxeth green in triumph before the might of Nebuchadnezzar. He leadeth in his train that which is, and that which is not yet. In his name, Taha-sta-neph, he toweth along the earth by Ma'at, in his name of Seker. He is exceedingly mighty and most terrible in his name, Osiris. He endureth forever and forever in his name of Unnefer. Homage be to thee, O King of kings, Lord of lords, ruler of princes, who from the womb of Nut hast ruled the world and the underworld. Thy members are like bright and shining copper. Thy head is blue like lapis lazuli, and the greenness of the turquoise is on both sides of thee, O thou God, and of millions of years, whose form and whose beauty of face are all pervading in Ta-Teshesert, i.e. the underworld. Praise be unto thee, Ausar, Lord of eternity, Unnefer, Herakuti, whose forms are manifold and whose attributes are majestic. Ptah Seka Tem in Anu, Helopolis, the Lord of the hidden house, the creator of Het-Ka Ptah and of the gods therein. Thou guide of the underworld, whom the gods glorify when thou settest in the night sky of Nut. Auset embraceth thee with content, and she driveth away the fiends from the mouth of thy path. Thou turnest thy face upon Amentet, and thou makest the earth to shine as with refined copper. Those who have lain down, i.e. the dead, rise up to look upon thee. They breathe the air, and they look upon thy face. When the disk riseth in the horizon, thy hearts are at peace, inasmuch as they behold thee, O thou who art eternity and everlastingness. Homage to thee, Kaseb, starry deities in Anu, Helopolis, and Amenmet in Ker-Aha, thou God Unti, who art more glorious than the Natiru who are hidden in Anu. Homage to thee, O An, in Antes, great one, Herakuti, thou stridest over heaven with long strides, O Herakuti. Homage to thee, O soul of eternity, thou God Ba, who dwelleth in Tetu, Unnefer, son of Nut. Thou art the Lord of Akert, i.e. the underworld. Homage to thee in thy dominion in Tetu. The Ararat crown is established upon thy head. Thou art one, and thou makest the strength which is thine own protection, and thou dwellest in Tetu. Homage to thee, O Lord of the Asiyah tree. The Seker boat is upon its sledge. Thou drivest back the fiend, the worker of evil, and thou causest the Uachet to rest upon its seat. Homage to thee, thou who art mighty in thine hour, thou great and mighty prince who dwelleth in Anrut F. Thou art the Lord of eternity and the creator of everlastingness. Thou art the Lord of Sutin Henin. Homage to thee, O thou who restest upon Ma'at. Thou art the Lord of Abtu, and thy limbs are joined unto Ta-Teshesert Tet. What thou admonestest is falsehood, or deceit and guile. Homage to thee, O thou who art within thy boat. Thou bringest along happy from out of his source. shineth upon thy body, and thou art he who dwelleth in Nekin. Homage to thee, O creator of the Netiru, king of the south and north, Osiris, whose word is Ma'at, thou possessor of the two lands, in thy seasons of operative power. Thou art the Lord of the Atebu, i.e. the two lands which lay one on each side of the celestial Nile. The above 9 addresses form, in reality, a litany, and after each of them the deceased said to Ausar, O grant thou unto me a path whereon I may pass in peace, for I am just and true. I have not spoken lies wittingly, nor have I done aught with deceit. Homage to thee, O Ausar, Nefer, whose word is Ma'at, thou son of Nut, thou firstborn son of Seb, thou mighty one who comest forth from Nut, thou king in the city of Nefer, thy governor of Amentet, thou lord of Abtu, thou lord of souls, thou mighty one of strength, thou lord of the Atef crown, in Sutan Hinin, thou lord of the divine form in the city of Nefer, thou lord of the tomb, thou mighty one of souls in Tetu, thou lord of offerings, whose festivals are many in Tetu. The Neta Heru exalteth his father in every place, and he uniteth himself unto the Netert AUSET, and unto her sister Neptis, and the Tehuti, and the Neter Tehuti reciteth for him the mighty glorifyings which are within him, and which come forth from his mouth, and the heart of Heru is stronger than that of all the Netiru. Rise up then, O Heru, thou son of AUSET, and avenge thy father, Ausar. Hail, O Ausar, I have come unto thee. I am Heru, and I have avenged thee, and I feed this day upon the sepulchral meals of oxen and feathered fowl, and upon all the beautiful things offered unto Ausar. Rise up then, O Ausar, for I have struck down for thee all thine enemies, and I have taken vengeance upon them for thee. I am Heru upon this beautiful day of thy fair rising in thy soul, which exalteth thee along with itself on this day before thy divine sovereign princes. Hail, O Ausar, thy double Ka hath come unto thee, and rest with thee, and thou resteth therein in thy name of Kahetep. It maketh thee glorious in thy name of Ku, and it maketh thee like unto the morning star in thy name of Pehu, and it openeth for thee the ways in thy name of Apuat. Hail, O Ausar, I have come unto thee, and I have set thine enemies under thee in every place, and thy word is Ma'at, in the presence of the Netiru, and of the divine sovereign chiefs. Hail, O Ausar, thou hast received thy scepter, and the place whereon thou art to rest, and thy steps are under thee. Thou bringest food to the Netiru, and thou bringest sepulchral meals unto those who dwell in their tombs. Thou hast given thy might unto the Netiru, and thou hast created the great Neter. Thou hast thy existence with them in their spiritual bodies. Thou gatherest thyself unto all the Netiru, and thou hearest the word of Ma'at on the day when offerings to this Netiru are offered on the festivals of Uka. Homage to thee, O governor of Amentet, Nefer, lord of Ptah Tsert, O thou who art diademed like Ra. Verily, I come to see thee and to rejoice at thy beauties. His disk is thy disk. His rays of light are thy rays of light. His Ararat crown is thy Ararat crown. His majesty is thy majesty. His risings are thy risings. His beauties are thy beauties. The terror which he inspireth is the terror which thou inspirest. His odor is thy odor. His hall is thy hall. His seat is thy seat. His throne is thy throne. His air is thy air. His ornaments are thy ornaments. His decree is thy decree. His hidden place is thy hidden place. His things are thy things. His knowledge is thy knowledge. The attributes of greatness which are his are thine. The power which protecteth him protecteth thee. He dieth not, and thou diest not. He is not overcome by his enemies, and thou art not overcome by thine enemies. No evil thing whatsoever hath happened unto him, and no evil thing whatsoever shall happen unto thee forever and ever. Homage to thee, O Ausar, son of Nu, Lord of the two horns, whose Atef crown is exalted. May the Ararat crown be given unto thee, along with sovereignty, before the company of the Natiru. May the god Temu make awe of thee to exist in the hearts of men and women and Natiru and spirits and the dead. My dominion may be given unto thee in Anu. Mayst thou be mighty in transformations in Tattoo. Mayest thou be the Lord greatly feared in the Ati. Mayest thou be mighty in victory in Restal. Mayest thou be the Lord who is commemorated with gladness in the great house. Mayest thou have manifold risings like the sun in Abtu. May triumph be given unto thee in the presence of the company of the Natiru. Mayest thou gain the victory over the mighty powers. May the fear of thee be made to go throughout the earth, and may the princes stand up upon their stations before the sovereign of the Natiru of the Tuat. Before thee the mighty Sekhem of heaven, the prince of the living ones, the king of those who are in his train, and the glorifier of thousands in Ker-Aha. The denizens of heaven rejoice in thee, O thou who art the Lord of the chosen offerings in the mansions above. A meat offering is made unto thee in the city of Ptah, and the things of the night are prepared for him in Sekhem. Behold, O mighty Natiru, thou great one of twofold strength, thy son Heru avengeth thee. He doeth away with every evil thing whatsoever that belongeth to thee. He bindeth up in order for thee thy person. He gathereth together for thee thy members. He collected collective for thee thy bones. And he bringeth to thee whatsoever belongeth to thee. Thus thou art raised up, O Ausar, and I have given unto thee thy hand, and I make thee to stand up, a living being forever and ever. Homage to thee, O governor of those who are in Amenti, who maketh mortals to be born again, and who reneweth thou youth. Thou comest, who dwelleth in thy season, and who art more beautiful than thy son Heru, hath avenged thee. The rank and dignity of Tim have been conferred upon thee. O Unnefer, thou art raised up, O bull of Amentet. Thou art established in the body of Nut, who uniteth herself unto thee, and who cometh forth with thee. Thy heart is established upon that which supporteth it, and thy breast is as it was formerly. Thy nose is firmly fixed with life and power. Thou livest, and thou art renewed, and thou makest thyself young like Ra each and every day. Mighty and mighty is Ausar in victory, and he is firmly established with life. Thy heart rejoiceth, O Lord of the Natiru. Thy heart rejoices greatly. The black land and the red land are at peace, and they serve thee humbly under thy sovereign power. The temples are established upon their own land. Cities and nomes possess firmly the goods which are inscribed in their names. And we will make to thee the divine offerings which we are bound to make, and offer sacrifices in thy name forever. Acclamations are made in thy name. Libations are poured out to thy double. Sepulchre meals are brought unto thee by the Khus who are in their following, and water is sprinkled upon the offerings, upon both sides of the souls of the dead in this land. Every plan which hath been decreed for thee according to the commands of Ra in the beginning hath been perfected. Now, therefore, O son of Nut, thou art diademed as Nebuchadnezzar is diademed at his rising. Thou livest, thou art established, thou reneweth thy youth. Thou art true and perfect. Thy father Ra maketh strong thy members, and the company of the Natiru make acclamations unto thee. The Natert AUSET is with thee, and she never leaveth thee. Thou art not overthrown by thine enemies. The lords of all lands praise thy beauties, even as they praise Ra. When he riseth at the beginning of each day, thou riseth up like an exalted one upon thy standard. Thy beauties exalt the face and make long the stride. I have given unto thee the sovereignty of thy father Seb, and the Natert Mut thy mother, who gave birth to the Natiru, brought thee forth as the firstborn of 5 Natiru, and created thy beauties, and fashioned thy members. Thou art established as king. The white crown is upon thy head, and thou hast grasped in thy hands the crook and the whip, whilst thou wert in the womb, and hadst not yet come forth. Therefrom upon the earth thou wert crowned, Lord of the 2 lands, and the Atef crown of Ra was upon thy brow. The Natiru come unto thee bowing low to the ground, and they hold thee in fear. They retreat and depart when they see thee possessing the terror of Ra, and the victory of thy majesty is in their hearts. Life is with thee, and offerings of meat and drink follow thee, and that which is thy due is offered up before thy face. Homage to thee, O thou holy Natiru, thou mighty and beneficent being, thou prince of eternity, who dwellest in thy abode in the Sektet boat, thou whose risings are manifold in the Atet boat. To thee are praises rendered in heaven and upon earth. Peoples and nations exalt thee, and the majesty of thy terror is in the hearts of men and spirits and the dead. Thy soul is in Tetu, Mendes, and the terror of thee is in Sultan Henin. Thou settest the visible emblems of thyself in Anu, and the greatness of thy transformations in the double place of purification. Homage to thee, O great Natiru, thou Lord of Maati. I have come to thee, O my Lord, and I have brought myself hither that I may behold thy beauties. I know thee, and I know thy name, and I know the names of the 2 and 40 Natiru who exist with thee in the hall of Ma'ati, who live as waters of sinners and who feed upon their blood on the day when the lives of men are taken into account in the presence of the Natiru on Nefer. In truth, thy name is Rekti Murti Neb Ma'ati. In truth, I have come to thee, and I have brought Ma'at to thee, and I have destroyed wickedness for thee. I have not done evil to mankind. I have not oppressed the members of my family. I have not wrought evil in the place of Ma'at. I have had no knowledge of worthless men. I have not wrought evil. I have not made to be the first of each day that excessive labor should be performed for me. I have not brought forward my names for honor. I have not ill-treated servants. I have not thought scorn of God. I have not defrauded the oppressed one of his goods. I have not done that which is an abomination unto the Natiru. I have not caused harm to be done to the servant by his chief. I have not caused pain. I have made no man to suffer hunger. I have made no one to weep. I have done no murder. I have not given the order for murder to be done for me. I have not inflicted pain upon mankind. I have not defrauded the temples of their oblations. I have not purloined the cakes of the Natiru. I have not carried off the cakes offered to the spirits. I have not committed fornication. I have not entered the holy places of the God of my city in a polluted condition. I have not diminished from the bushel. I have neither added to nor twitched away land. I have not encroached upon the fields of others. I have not added to the weights of the scales, cheated the seller. I have not misread the pointer of the scales, cheated the buyer. I have not carried away the milk from the mouths of children. I have not driven away the cattle from their pastures. I have not snared the feathered fowl of the preserves of the Natiru. I have not caught fish with bait made of fish of their kind. I have not turned back the water at the time when it should flow. I have not cut a cutting in a canal of running water. I have not extinguished a fire when it should burn. I have not violated the seasons of the chosen meat offering. I have not driven off the cattle from the property of the Natiru. I have not repulsed God in his manifestations. I am pure. I am pure. I am pure. I am pure. My purity is the purity of that great Benu, which is in the city of Sutan Henin. For behold, I am the nose of the Natiru of the winds who maketh all mankind to live on the day when the eye of Ra is full in Anu, at the end of the second month of the season Pert, in the presence of the divine Lord of the earth. I have seen the eye of Ra when it was full in Anu. Therefore let not evil befall me in this land and in this hall of Ma'ati, because I, even I, know the names of these Natiru who are therein and who are the followers of the great God. Hymn to Osiris, 18th dynasty, 1500 BC. Homage to thee, Ausar, Lord of eternity, king of the Natiru, many of names, holy of creations, hidden in forms in the temples whose Ka is venerated, chief of Tatu, great one contained in the temple of Sekhem, Lord of praises in the nome of Athi, chief of the sacred food in Heliopolis, the Lord who commemorated in Maati, soul hidden, Lord of Earth, Holy One in White Wall, the soul of Ra of his very body, satisfied with in Henen Sutin, abundant of praises in Nart, hath become exalted his soul as Lord of the great house in Kinamu, great one of terror in Sheshatep, Lord of eternity, chief of Abydos, extendeth his seat in the land of holiness, established of name in the mouth of mankind, the twofold Puat of the two lands, Tim, the divine god of the Kas, chief of the Puat of the gods, spirit beneficent among the spirits. He draweth from Nu his waters. He bringeth along the wind of eventude and air to his nostrils to the satisfaction of his heart. Germinateth his heart. He produceth the light, the divine food, obey him. Heaven and the star guards, he maketh to be open, the great gates. Lord of praises in the southern heaven, adored in the northern heaven, the stars which never diminish are under the seat of his face. His seats are the stars which never rest. Cometh to him an offering by the order of Seb, the Puat of the gods praise him. The star gods of the underworld smell the earth before him. The boundaries of earth bow the back. The limits of heaven make supplication when they see him. Those who are among the holy ones fear him. The two lands, all of them, give to him praises in meeting his majesty. The master, glorious, chief of masters, endowed with divine rank, established of dominion, form beautiful of the company of the Natiru, gracious of face, beloved by him that seeth him. He putteth his fear in all lands through love of him. They all proclaim his name before every name. Make offerings to him all men, the Lord who is commemorated in heaven and in earth. He is greatly praised in the Ak festival. Make to him cries to joy the two lands all together. The great one, first of his divine brethren, prince of the Puat of the gods, establisher of right and truth throughout the two lands, placer of the sun upon his throne, great of his father Seb, darling of his mother Nut, great one of twofold strength. He cast down Seba. He hath slaughtered his enemy, placing his fear in his foe. Bringer of boundaries, remote, firm of heart. His 2 feet are lifted up. Heir of Seb and sovereignty of the two lands. He hath seen his power. He hath given to him command to lead the lands by his hand to the end of times. He hath made this earth in his hand, its waters, its air, its green herbs, its cattle, all, its birds, all its fishes, all its reptiles, its quadrupeds. The desert is by right to the son of Nut. The two lands are content to crown on the throne of the Father like Ra. He riseth on the horizon. He giveth light throughout the darkness. He shineth with light. From his plumes he floodeth with light. The two lands like the disk at the early sunrise. His crown pierceth heaven. He is a brother of the star gods, the guide of God every, operative by command and word, favored one of the Puat of the gods great, beloved of the Puat of the gods little, hath made his sister his protection, driving away foes, turning back evil hap, uttering the word with the power of her mouth, perfect of tongue, not erring of speech, operating by decree and word of AUSET, the strong one, the avenger of her brother. She sought him without weariness. She went round about this earth in sorrow. Not alighted she without finding him. She made light with her hair feathers. Making to become wind with her wings, she made cries at the brer of her brother. She raised up from inactivity the one still of heart. She extracted his seed. She made the air. She suckled the baby in solitariness. Not known is his place wherein she reared him. His hand is mighty within the house of Seb. The Puat of gods rejoiceth at the coming of Ausar's son Heru, established of heart, whose word is absolute, son of AUSET, heir of Ausar, gathered to him the sovereign prince of Ma'at, the Puat of the Natiru and Nebuchadnezzar himself, and the lords of Ma'at assembled therewith. Verily those who repulse faults rejoice in the house of Seb to bestow the rank of Ausar upon its lord. The sovereignty of its right is to him. Hath found Heru his voice true, hath been given to him. The rank of his father, he hath come forth crowned by the command of Seb. He hath received the scepter of the two lands. The white crown is established upon his head. He judgeth the earth according to his plan. Heaven and earth are under the seat of his face. He commandeth men, spirits, the dead, the Haminmet and Tamari, the lords of the north, the circle of the disk, are under his plans, and the north wind, the flood, the celestial waters, the staff of life, herb every, Nepra, he giveth his green herbs, the Lord of Techefal food. He leadeth on abundance. He giveth it in all lands. Everywhere is joy. Hearts are glad, hearts rejoice. Every face is happy. Every place adoreth his beauties. Doubly sweet is his love to us. His active goodness goeth round hearts. Great is his love in everybody, and they do what is right to the son of AUSET. His enemy hath fallen before his wrath. The maker of evil, at the utterance of the voice, shooting forth his wrath in his season, cometh unto him the son of AUSET, the avenger of his father. Holy and beneficent is his name. All resteth in its seat. Established everywhere are his laws. The path is open. The roads are open. Content are the two lands. Wickedness departeth. Evil goeth away. The earth is at peace beneath its Lord. Established is Ma'at by its Lord. It giveth the back to iniquity. Glad is thy heart, Nefer, son of AUSET. He hath receiveth the white crown. Is his by right, the rank of his father within the house of Seb. He is Ra when he speaketh, Tehuti when he writeth. The assessors are content. What hath decreed for thee thy father, Seb, let be performed even as he spake. May give a royal offering, Ausar, governor of Amenti, lord of Abydos. May he give sepular meals, oxen, fowl, bandages, incense, wax, gifts of herbs of all kinds and making of transformations, the mastery of the Nile, appearance as a soul living, the sight of the Aten at dawn daily, entrance into and exit from Restal, not being repulsed, the soul in the underworld, reception among the favored ones before Unnefer, receipts of cakes coming forth before the altar of the God great, the snuffing of the wind sweet of the north. The names of Ausar in every shrine wherein he dwelleth. This is beautiful right here. The great sister, she was talking about the names of Ra, and here we have the names of Ausar. Number 1, Ausar Unnefer, Ausar Unkti, Ausar Neb Unk, Ausar Nebatecher, Ausar Kinti, Ausar Sa, Ausar Sa, Ausar Kinti Peru, Ausar M Resinet, Ausar M Mehinet, Ausar Nubhe, Ausar Bati Erpit, Ausar Ptah Neb Unk, Ausar Kinti Restal, Ausar Heb A Simp, Ausar M Ati, Ausar M Sektet, Ausar M Nef Chet, Ausar M Resu, Ausar M Pei, Ausar M Natiru, Ausar M Sakari, Ausar M Baket, Ausar M Sanu, Ausar M Rehu Renhininet, Ausar M Apper, Ausar Kef Tinmu, Ausar Sekri M Petshi, Ausar Kinti Nutef, Ausar M Pasekre, Ausar M Ast Famu Tame, Ausar M Pet, Ausar M Ast Amu Restal, Ausar Net Chesti, Ausar Sam Ausar Sekri, Ausar Hek Ticheta, Ausar Tua, Ausar M Ater, Ausar M Sek, Ausar Neb Ticheta, Ausar Ati, Ausar Tati, Ausar M Restal, Ausar Her Sha'ef, Ausar Kinti Sehemt, Ausar M Ta'al Anintet, Ausar M Net Tibet, Ausar M Sati, Ausar M Best Hu, Ausar M Tepu, Ausar M Saheri, Ausar M Nepert, Ausar M Shinu, Ausar M Henket, Ausar M Tasekri, Ausar M Sha'u, Ausar M Fat Heru, Ausar M Ma'ati, Ausar M Henna, Ausar Unnefer, Ausar Unki, Ausar Neb Unk, Ausar Ap Tua, Ausar Kinti Un. Is this the same words? This is beautiful. This is, Asar Kintet Nepra, Asar Sa, Asar Sep Ba'u Anu, Asar Kinti Tenanet, Asar M Restanet, Asar M Mahinet, Asar Neb He, Asar Sa Herpeti, Asar Ptah Neb Unk, Asar Kent Restal, Asar Hek Tau Heb A Tetu, Asar Heb Ab Set, Asar Ba Sheps M Tetu, Asar M Atet, Asar M Hest, or Neter Set, Asar Neb Ta Unktet, Asar M Sal, Asar M Netchet, Asar M Resal or M Techetet, Asar M Pay, Asar M Tept, Asar M Netra, Asar M Sal Kurt, Asar M Sal Hurt, Asar M and Rut F, Asar M Bakal, Asar M Shanu, Asar M Renin, Asar M Apper, Asar M Kefanu, Asar M Sekri, Asar M Patet, Asar M Het F M Rastal, Asar M Nif Asar M Netet, Asar Kinti Nut F, Asar Hinti, Asar M Pakes, Asar M Het F M Tereset, Asar M Het F M Tamahet, Asar M Pet, Asar M Ta, Asar M Nest, Asar M Atef Asar Sekar M Shatet, Asar Hek Techeta M Anu, Asar Utet, Asar M Sektet, Asar M Ratu Nefu, Asar Neb Cheteta, Asar Neb He, Asar N Tesher, Asar M Sheshet, Asar M Huhet Rasal, Asar M Huhet Met, Asar M At Asar M Apert, Asar M Shinmu, Asar M Hekanut or Hesertet, Asar M Sekar, Asar M Shao, Asar Fa Heru, Asar M Upek, Asar M Maati, Asar M Mina, Asar Baal Te'ef, Asar Neb Ta'al Sutin Natiru, Asar M Binner, Asar M Ta, Asar Hersh Sha'ef, Asar Kint Seket Ka'ut F, Asar M Sa, Asar M Sati, Asar M Asher, Asar M Ta'u Nebu, Asar Kint Shetet Aperti, Asar M Het Ben Benet, Asar M Anu, Asar Au M Anu, Asar M Himet, Asar M Akesh, Asar M Panu, Asar M Het At, Asar Neb Unk M Abtu, Asar Neb Tatu, Asar Kint Ast, Asar Ati Her Ab Abtu, Asar Ati Heb Her Ab Shatet, Asar M Unk M Ptah Het Kat, Asar Neb Pahet Patet Seba, Asar Be Her Ab Kim, Asar Ahat Aheti, Asar Se, Asar Harakuti, Ta Ka Ka Paut Natiru Out At, Apuat Res Secum Tau, Apuat Mint Secum Pet, Ptah Teta Sheps Ast Ra, Ua Sekeb M Het Ben, Seb Erpat Natiru, Heru Heru Kenintet A Maati, Heru Sa'ast, Amsu Min Sutin Heru Net, A Mutef A Paru Aruri, Kinamu Heru Hatep, Heru Sekhau, Heru Kinti Kahati, Heru Ta'atu, Enher, Anpu Kint Neter Shesh, Nut, As Natert M Renes Nebu, Ra, Sekat, Shenintet, Hekit, Neshmet Neb Ticheta, Net, Serket, Ma'at, Ahit, Tafuti, Meskinu, Amu Abtu, Meskin At, Meskin Sekbet, Meskahin Mint, Meskahin Nefert, Amseth, Happy, Tuamuti F, Kabsinu F, Arurat Heb Ab Neter Het, Natiru Samu Tuat, Natiru Kurti, Natiru Netarut Emu Abtu, Atu Aturti Rest Mahet, Amkua Nu Asar, Asar Kint Amintet, Asar M Ast F Nebu, Asar M Ast M Ta Rest, Asar M Ahat F M Ta Mahent, Asar M Ast F Neb Meri Ka F M, Asar M Shesh Nebu, Asar M Kimu F Nebu, Asar M Ren Nef Nebu, Asar M Ker F Neb, Asar M Kau Neb Nebu, Asar M Kakeru F Nebu, Asar M Ahat Nef Nebu, Heru Necha Tef F M Ren F Neb, and Pu Kint Neter Shesh M Ren F Neb, and Pu Am Uhet, Natiru in Neter Kurt, Int Amu Tuat. Beautiful, beautiful Nefer names. And we're going to end it with Plutarch's, there's that word again, mythological history of AUSET and Ausar. Now, the story of AUSET and Ausar, its most significant and superfluous parts omitted, and thus briefly related. Rhea, they say, having accompanied with Kronos by stealth, was discovered in Helios, wherein upon denounced a curse upon her that she should not be delivered in any month or year. Hermes, however, being likewise in love with the same goodness, in recompense of the favors which he had received from her, plays at the table with Selene and wins from her the 70th part of each of her illuminations. These several parts making in the whole 5 new days, he afterwards joined together and added to the 360 of which the year formerly consisted, which days therefore are even yet called by the Egyptians the impact or superadded, and observed by them as the birthdays of their Nitirus. For upon the first of them, say, they was Osiris born, just at whose entrance into the world a voice was heard saying, the Lord of all the earth is born. There are some indeed who relate this circumstance in a different manner, as that a certain person named Pamesles, as he was fetching water from the temple of Jupiter at Thebes, heard a voice commanding him to proclaim aloud that the good and the great King Osiris was then born. And for this reason, Kronos committed the education of the child to him, and that in memory of this event, the Pamelia were afterwards instituted, a festival much resembling the Philipophoria or Priapia of the Greeks. Upon the second of these days was Arurius, born, whom some call Apollo and others distinguish by the name of the elder Horus. Upon the third Typho, i.e. Set, came into the world, being born neither at the proper time nor by the right place, but forcing his way through a wound which he had made in his mother's side. Isis was born on the fourth of them in the marshes of Egypt, and Nephthys was upon the last, whom some call Tehuti and Aphrodite, and others Nike. Now, as to the fathers of these children, the two first of them are said to have been begotten by Helios, Isis by Hermes, Typho and Nephthys by Kronos, and accordingly the third of these superadded days, because it was looked upon as the birthday of Typho, was regarded by the king as inauspicious, and consequently they neither transacted any business in it or even suffered themselves to take any refreshment until the evening. They further added that Typho married Nephthys, and that Isis and Ausar, having a mutual affection, enjoyed each other in their mother's womb before they were born, and that from this commerce sprang Arurius, who the Egyptians likewise call the elder Horus, and the Greeks Apollo. Osiris, being now become the king of Egypt, applied himself towards civilizing his countrymen by turning them from the former indigent and barbarous course of life. He moreover taught them how to cultivate and improve the fruits of the earth. He gave them a body of laws to regulate their conduct by, and instructed them in that reverence and worship which they were to pay to the gods. With the same good disposition, he afterwards traveled over the rest of the world, inducing the people everywhere to submit to his discipline, not indeed compelling them by force of arms, but persuading them to yield to the strength of his reasons, which were conveyed to them in the most agreeable manner, in hymns and songs accompanied with instruments of music. From which last circumstance the Greeks conclude him to have been the same person with their Dionysus or Bacchus. During Osiris's absence from his kingdom, Typho had no opportunity of making any innovations in the state. Isis, being extremely vigilant in the government and always upon her guard, after his return, however, having first persuaded 72 other persons to join with him in the conspiracy, together with a certain queen of Ethiopia named Aso, who chanced to be in Egypt at that time, he contrived a proper stratagem to execute his base designs. For having privily taken the measure of Osiris's body, he caused a chest to be made exactly of the same size with it, as beautiful as might be, and set off with all the ornaments of art. This chest he brought into his banqueting room, where, after it had been much admired by all who were present, Typho, as it were in jest, promised to give it to anyone of them whose body upon trial it might be found to fit. Upon this whole company, one after another, go into it, but as it did not fit any of them, last of all Osiris lays himself down in it, upon which the conspirators immediately ran together, clasped the cover upon it, and then fastened it down on the outside with nails, pouring likewise melted lead over it. After this, they carried it away to the river side and conveyed it to the sea by the Kemetic mouth of the Nile, which for this reason is still held in the utmost admonition by the Egyptians, and never named by them but with proper marks of detestation. These things, say they, were thus executed upon the 17th day of the month of Author, when the sun was in Scorpio in the 28th year of Osiris's reign, though there are others who tell us that he was no more than 28 years old at this time. The first who knew the accident which had befallen their king were the Pans and Satyrs, who inhabited the country about Chemis, and they immediately acquainted the people with the news gave the first occasion to the name panic terrors, which has ever since been made use of to signify any sudden affright or amazement of a magnitude. As to AUSET, as soon as the report reached her, she immediately cut off one of the locks of her hair and put on mourning apparel upon the very spot where she had then happened to be, which accordingly from this accident has ever since been called Koptos, or the city of mourning. Through some are opinion that this word rather signifies deparation. After this, she wandered everywhere about the country, full of disquietude and perplexity, in search of the chest, inquiring of every person she met with, even of some children whom she chanced to see, whether they knew what was become of it. Now it so happened that these children had seen what Typo's accomplices had done with the body, and accordingly acquainted her by what mouth of the Nile it had been conveyed into. For this reason, therefore, the Egyptians looked upon children as endued with a kind of faculty of divining, and in consequence of this notion are very curious in observing the accidental prattle which they have with one another whilst they are at play, especially if it be a sacred place, forming omens and presages from it. Isis, during this interval, having been informed that Osiris, deceived by her sister Nephthys, who was in love with him, had unwittingly enjoyed her instead of herself, as she concluded from the Meliot garland which he had left with her, made it her business to search out the child, the fruit of this unlawful commerce, for her sister, dreading the anger of her husband Typho, had exposed it as soon as it was born, and accordingly, after much pains and difficulty, by means of some dogs that conducted to her to the place where it was, she found it and bred it up, so that in process of time it became her constant guard and attendant, and from hence obtained the name of Anubis, being thought to watch and guard the guards as dogs do mankind. At length she received more particular news of the chest, that it had been carried by the waves of the sea to the coast of Biblios, and there gently lodged into the branches of a bush of tamarisk, which in a short time has shot up into a large and beautiful tree, growing round the chest and enclosing it on every side, so that it was not to be seen. And further, that the king of the country, amazed at its unusual size, had cut the tree down and made that part of the trunk wherein the chest was concealed a pillar to support the roof of his house. These things, say they, being made known to AUSET in an extraordinary manner by the report of demons, she immediately went to Biblios, where, setting herself down by the side of a mountain, she refused to speak to anyone, excepting only to the queen's women who chanced to be there. These indeed she saluted and caressed in the kindest manner possible, plaiting her hair for them and transmitting into them part of that wonderfully grateful odor which issued from her own body. This raised a great desire in the queen, their mistress, to see the stranger who had this admirable faculty of transfusing so fragrant a smell from herself into the hair and skin of other people. She therefore sent for her to court, and after a further acquaintance with her, made her nurse to one of her sons. Now the name of the king who reigned at this time at Biblios was Melkarthus, as that of his queen was Astarte, or according to others, Seosis, though some call her Nemananum, which answers to the Greek name of Athenius. Isis fed the child by giving it her finger to suck instead of the breast. She likewise put him every night into the fire in order to consume her mortal part. While as transforming herself into a swallow, she hovered round the pillar and bemoaned her sad fate. Thus continued she to do so for some time, till the queen, who stood watching her, observing the child to be all in a flame, cried out, and thereby deprived him of that immortality, which would otherwise have been conferred upon him. The goddess, upon this, discovering herself, requested that the pillar which supported the roof might be given her, which she accordingly took down, and then easily cutting it open after she had taken out what she wanted, she wrapped up the remainder of the trunk in fine linen and poured perfumed oil upon it, delivered it again into the hands of the king and queen, which pieces of wood is to be to this day preserved in the temple of Isis and worshipped by the people of Biblios. When this was done, she threw herself upon the chest, making at the same time such a loud and terrible lamentation over it, as frighted by the younger of the king's sons, who heard her out of his life. But the elder of them she took with her, and set sail with the chest for Egypt. And it being now about morning, the river of Phadois sending forth a rough and sharp air, she in her anger dried up its current. No sooner was she arrived at the desert place, where she imagined herself to be alone, but she presently opened the chest, and lying her face upon her dead husband, embraced his corpse and wept bitterly. But perceiving that the little boy had silently stolen behind him and found out the occasion of her grief, she turned herself about on a sudden, and in her anger she gave him so fierce and stern a look that he immediately died of the affright. Others indeed say that his death did not happen in this manner, but, as was hinted above, that he fell into the sea, and afterwards received the greatest honors on account of the goddess, for that the Maneros, whom the Egyptians so frequently call upon in their banquets, is none other than this very boy. This relation is again contradicted by such as tell us that the true name of the child is Palestinius or Palusius, and that the city of this name was built by the goddess in memory of him, adding further that the Maneros above mentioned in this honor by the Egyptians at their feast, because he was the first who invented music. There are others again who affirm that Maneros is not the name of any particular person, but a mere customary form and complimentary manner of greeting made use by the Kemetians one towards another at their more solemn feasts and banquets, meaning no more by it than to wish that they were then about might prove fortunate and happy to them, for that this is the true import of the world. In like manner say they the human skeleton, which at these times of jollity is carried about in a box and shown to all the guests, is not designed, as some imagine, to represent the particular misfortunes of Ausar, but rather to remind them of their mortality, and thereby to excite them freely to make use of and to enjoy the good things which are set before them. Seeing they must quickly become such as they saw that this is the true reason of introducing it at their banquets. But to proceed in the narration, Isis, intending to visit her son Osiris, who was brought up at Butos, deposited the chest in the meanwhile in a remote and unfrequented place. Typho, however, as he was one night hunting in the light of the moon, accidentally met with it, and knowing the body which was enclosed in it, tore it into several pieces, 14 in all, dispersing them up and down in different parts of the country. Upon being made acquainted with this event, Isis once again sets out in search of the scattered fragments of her husband's body, making use of a boat made of the reed papyrus in order to more easily to pass through the lower and finny parts of the country, for which reason they say the crocodile never touches any persons who sail in this sort of vessels, as either fearing the anger of the goddess or else respecting it on account of it having once carried her. To this occasion, therefore, is to be imputed that there are so many different sepulchres of Osiris shown in Egypt, for we are told that wherever Isis met with any of the scattered limbs of her husband, she there buried it. There are others, however, who contradict this relation and tell us that this variety of sepulchres was owing rather to the policy of the queen, who insisted of the real body, as it was presented these several cities with the images only of her husband, and that she did this not only to render the honors which would by this means be paid to his memory more extensive, but likewise that she might hereby elude the malicious search of Typhos, who, if he got the better of Osiris in the war wherein they were going to be engaged, distracted by this multiplicity of sepulchres, might despair of being able to find the true one. We are told, moreover, that notwithstanding all her search, Isis was never able to recover the private member of Osiris, which, having been thrown into the Nile immediately upon its separation from the rest of the body, had been devoured by the Lapidotus, the Phagris, and the Oxyrhinoceros fish, which all of which for this reason the Egyptians have a more especial avoidance. In order, however, to make some amends for the loss, Isis consecrated the phallus, made an imitation of it, and inserted a solemn festival to its memory, which is even to this day observed by the Egyptians. After these things, Osiris, returning from the other world, appeared to his son Horus, encouraged him to the battle, and at the same time instructed him in the exercise of arms. He then asked him what he thought the most glorious action a man could perform, to which Horus replied, to revenge the injuries offered to his father and mother. He then asked him what animal he thought most serviceable to a soldier, and being answered a horse, this raised the wonders of Osiris, so that he further questioned him why he preferred a horse before a lion, because, says Horus, though the lion be the more serviceable creature to one who stands in need of help, yet is the horse more useful in overtaking and cutting off a flying adversary. These replies much rejoiced Osiris, as they shewed him that his son was sufficiently prepared for his enemy. We are moreover told that amongst the great numbers who were continually deserting from Typhos, partly was his concubines Theris, and that a serpent pursuing her as she was coming over to Horus was slain by his soldiers. The memory of which action, say they, is still preserved in the cord which is thrown into the midst of their assemblies and then chopped into pieces. Afterward, it came to the battle between them, which lasted many days, but victory at length inclined to Horus, Typho himself being taken prisoner. Isis, however, to whose custody he was committed, was so far from putting him to death that she even loosed his bonds and set him at liberty. This action of his mother so extremely incensed Horus that he laid hands upon her and pulled off the ensign of royalty which she wore on her head, and inserted therefore Hermes' clap on a helmet made in the shape of an ox's head. After this, Typho publicly accused Horus of bastardy, but by the assistance of Hermes, his legitimacy was fully established in the judgment of the Neteru themselves. After this, there were two other battles fought between them, in both which Typhos had the worst. Furthermore, Isis is said to have accompanied Osiris after his death, and in consequence hereof to have brought forth Harpocrates, who came into the world before his time, and lame in his lower limbs. That is the end of the reading, and I would like to share something with everyone. You just give me 1 second. Let me pull it up. Still screen sharing. Yes, I am. So I would like to share a video with everyone. See if I can get to it.
Now, earlier this
Atef, we can't hear the video.
and that's where they
Can you
found
hear it now?
what they believe to be
Yes.
unfinished.
Okay, so this is Fox News. Video from Fox News. Pay attention.
Now, earlier this evening, we found a mummy. A mummy that Dr. Hawass thinks is one of the oldest ever to be found in its own resting place. And then Susie and Zahi slid down a 19-inch passageway 60 feet into the Queen's Pyramid. And that's where they found what they believe to be an unfinished tomb. If it's unfinished, Zahi, why was it unfinished?
Because the sarcophagus looks unfinished and the room full of stone rubble that dated to the Old Kingdom. And this is why I believe that this pyramid never used.
And let me ask you one other. Whose skull might that be? Would that be a thief or a robber of 2,500 years ago?
You know, no. You have to know that when the Queen died and they buried the Queen somewhere. But I'm sure that later period people tried to get in. But very few because of the small size of the entrance. You saw how it was hard for me and Susie to get in. And therefore, even for thieves, it was difficult for them to enter inside this pyramid.
Now, is it possible to get inside the sarcophagus there?
Yes, of course. I can let Susie to go in. Susie, you can go ahead. Go ahead and be buried here.
Thank you.
No,
Thanks, guys. You want me in the sarcophagus.
Susie.
I was setting you up, Susie.
Thank you. Now, we've been exploring throughout the break, Maury. Zahi, how long would you spend in something like this until you felt like you had found everything? I mean, this is like TV. We don't have much time.
It would take me at least 6 months to excavate the whole thing.
6 months.
But there is something. Look at this. Before we leave here, I found this pottery.
That's beautiful.
And this is Old Kingdom. Then they tried to put the pottery here before the Queen came to be buried. And the Queen never came here.
Maury, another amazing discovery.
Thanks, guys. Now, as our show nears completion, we have one more discovery to show you. A find that Dr. Hawass calls the biggest adventure of his life. A burial chamber for a god hidden deep in a Giza shaft. But before that, we'll address one more controversial theory. As we have seen, many suspect ancient Egypt was influenced by a vanished genius culture. For one group, the Rock of the Sphinx speaks the truth. Was there a lost civilization that lived on the Giza Plateau? Perhaps the answers have been right in front of us all along, in the mystery of the Sphinx. Egyptologists have always believed that the Sphinx was carved by the pharaoh Khafra, that it's his face you see on the body of the lion. But author John Anthony West sees something more.
The head of the Sphinx is much, much too small for its body, yet the head is a perfectly fashioned and perfectly proportioned head. The body is a perfectly proportioned body. So our belief is that the Sphinx has been altered at some point or another in its history.
If the pharaoh Khafra had his face carved onto an existing structure, then it's possible the Sphinx is much, much older than we think. There is definitive evidence that the Sphinx was in fact weathered by constant rains.
What attacks limestone and dissolves it away is water.
The only way that such a fissure forms in a rock face that's cut smooth is by rainwater, lots and lots of rainwater falling down over long periods of time.
But how can that be? Egypt's been a desert for more than 10,000 years.
There were moist periods, rainy periods in Egypt that clearly predate the modern Sahara Desert.
This kind of a rainy period prevailed in Egypt around from the time when the last ice age broke up. For the Sphinx to be water weathered and rain weathered means that it has to have been built before the rains fell.
Traditional Egyptologists argue that it was not rain, but the harsh environment of the windswept desert that caused this erosion. But West says that's just not possible.
The Sphinx has been covered in sand for most of the last 4,500 years. Obviously, it can't be weathered either by water or by wind and sand when it's covered up to its neck. If the water weathering theory is correct, then we're confronted by a very ancient and highly sophisticated civilization existing at a time when no civilization is supposed to have existed.
Perhaps the Sphinx is the last monument of this civilization, which vanished some 12,000 years ago. And if that's the case, was there any other evidence left behind? The prophecies of the renowned 20th century psychic Edgar Cayce might hold a key.
According to Edgar Cayce, around 10,500 BC, the Egyptians were attempting to record and store and hide records that future generations could find and that would enlighten them about this prehistoric period.
Edgar Cayce predicted that this great hall of records was to be found beneath the paws of the Sphinx. Could it be that underneath this mysterious monument awaits the wisdom of a highly evolved race? Perhaps even evidence of the lost city of Atlantis.
These records that are hidden in Egypt will surprise us and break us through a limited thinking that we've had about who we really are and what life's really all about. So it will require the right heart to open that chamber.
2 years ago, an American research team came to Giza and using ground-penetrating radar reported odd readings underneath the Sphinx. The findings suggested the possibility of an underground chamber. More recently, however, Dr. Hawass discovered just that, a subterranean chamber. And it lies at the bottom of a long shaft not far from the Sphinx. This long hidden chamber honors the greatest of Egyptian gods, Osiris. In ancient myth, he's the principal figure of the country's genesis, a benevolent god king who brought civilization to Egypt, but then was brutally murdered by his brother. Osiris was reborn as the Lord of Eternity, ruler of the dead, the chief judge at the trial of all souls. And as we now learn, he is part of the wonders at Giza.
Maury, we talk so much about dispelling myths. How about confirming one? About 2,500 years ago, the Greek historian Herodotus, who I guess you could call the world's first foreign correspondent, visited this site. Local villagers and guides told him that he could find the tomb of a king buried deep beneath the Giza Plateau. Well, about a year ago, Dr. Zahi Hawass, who joins me here at the mouth of the shaft, embarked on what he calls his greatest adventure ever. Zahi, you've been doing this for some 30 years. Why is this so amazing?
Susie, it's amazing because this is the first time that they excavate underneath 100 feet in water. Before, excavate on sand and dirt. And also at the same time, I discovered that this is what Herodotus talked about. And I found that this is the tomb of Osiris. Let's go and see what we're talking about.
Our first descent is about 20 feet, a chance to get warmed up to the rickety, rusty ladders. Now it gets intimidating. The second leg is a major drop, as the shaft narrows before opening to a room once obscured by dirt and sand. Zahi and his men cleared it to find a burial chamber with 6 rooms. So this is the second level, 55 feet down, right?
Yeah.
What did you find here?
I excavated this part. I found 6 rooms cut in the rock, 2 red granite sarcophagus, and pottery and bones.
What do the bones teach you?
Bones tell us about the people. Pottery gave me the date of this place, 500 BC, 2,500 years ago.
And what made you think that there was anything beyond this?
You have to look for the other level. This is the adventure. Let me take you to show you the most amazing thing that you'll ever seen in your life. But let us take our jackets off because it's so hot there.
Oh my. Upon discovery, the third level was submerged. When the water was pumped out, Dr. Hawass had the find of his life. No fear of the unknown?
Yes, but there is great adventure in archaeology.
So we're 100 feet down now. What is this?
Susie, this is the tomb of Osiris.
The god of the underworld. This once extravagant mausoleum, a moat with 4 pillars engraved with hieroglyphics constructed thousands of years ago, was intended to be a symbolic shrine for the keeper of the afterlife.
If you will look down here, I will show you what is here. Look, there is the second part of the sarcophagus. Goes down, I think about 1 feet down. And up, you see what we did. The lid is up. You want to see the length of that lid? Okay, let us watch out. Let us
How
see.
much would something like this weigh?
Oh, the weight of this was 11 to 12 tons. What's the length?
Just about 9 feet.
9 feet. Then the whole lid and the second part is about 11 to 12 tons weight.
And how could they get 12 tons down 100 feet?
You know, when they cut this shaft, they fill the shaft with sand, and they cut side shafts. They take the sand from the side shafts, and the sarcophagus will come down piece by piece.
And there's more. Archaeologists agree that below the Giza Plateau lies a network of tunnels. Could this be the center? A gateway? Our first evidence is stunningly revealed.
I will go now and show you this exciting place.
Zahi, the American prophet Edgar Casey talked years and years ago about a lost civilization, hidden tunnels that would lead to answers about it. Could this have anything to do with that?
You know, Susie, Edgar Casey and lost civilization, it's a legend, it's a myth. The Arabs in the last century, they talked about all of this, and psychic brought it to us back. But to be fair, I did not excavate this tunnel yet. Then really I don't know where it leads us. But I always say that you never know what the sand and the tunnels of Egypt may hide.
Like in the Matrix.
I am in awe of this whole thing, and what a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be a part of this great discovery that will certainly fuel the fire and the speculation that we can find the answers, perhaps details of a lost civilization, instructions for our future. Maybe.
Thanks, Susie. We can hear the call to prayer for a new day here at Giza. And now there's this obvious question. Where do the tunnels that they were talking about take us? Tonight, you have heard from the many who think a piece of ancient Egyptian history is missing. What if they're right? What if a tunnel leads to a chamber beneath the Sphinx? What if there is a hall of records that contains the wisdom of a past civilization, a lost culture whose combination of science and spirituality was even more advanced than our own? The idea is outrageous, but in opening the lost tomb tonight, we have learned, as Dr. Hawass told us, there is much yet to be revealed under the Giza sands. We'll be right back.
Okay, now, that video, I couldn't find the original. And as you noticed, when it cut out, it did cut out a very important part of the video. And that part was this right here. Let me show you guys what it cut out. It cut out this part. I seen the original. It cut this out. Let me see. Zoom to it. Go back. This right here. I've seen this before live. I've seen a video of that, and it cut this out even more importantly. Let me see if I can find it. And you notice they only right here. I've seen this. As a matter of fact, Saba showed this. He showed not this cartoon version, but the actual part. And that's when the screen went started acting funny. But if you notice, this is Fox News. So I just wanted to share that with everyone. Just to show, you know, give you a little bit of context. So everything I read, even in the news article and in the stories, they actually kind of touched on and showed. So I'm going to read you guys something. I'm going to read something to you. Something someone shared with me that I thought was very relevant before I end this. And it says, the lie said to the truth, let's take a bath together. The well water is very nice. The truth, still suspicious, tested the water and found out it was really nice. So they got naked and bathed. But suddenly the lie leapt out of the water and fled, wearing the clothes of the truth. The truth, furious, climbed out of the well to get her clothes back. But the world, upon seeing the never naked truth, looked away with anger and contempt. Poor truth returned to the well and disappeared forever, hiding her shame. Since then, the lie runs around the world just as the truth, and society is very happy because the world has no desire to know the never naked truth. And with that, I'm going to end my presentation. And in the mighty, mighty words of the great Menti, she says, the Natiru exists. Yeah, we're here. We exist. We are here and we exist. Hindu to the Natiru and Hindu to Ausar.
Yeah, we're here and we're the best.
Am I still screen sharing?
No, you are not.
Yeah, I wanted to share that. Scribe, you remember when Saba showed that video? Not that video, but he showed an actual video of a tomb. Do you remember that?
Yes, the class when you were speaking about the what they call the tomb of Ausar.
Yes, yep. So that is my reading for today. I hope you guys learned something. I hope there's something you can get from it. For allowing me to present, definitely to echo the utterances of the Natiro themselves, and also a little bit of what the Greeks had to say. I found that a little more difficult to read and understand, but because I'm familiarizing myself with the actual papyruses of our ancestors, it was a little bit easier to understand. But had I not been familiar with the actual story, it would have been a lot more difficult. So, Tua and Hindu, great brothers. How y'all brothers doing?
Doing excellent. That was fantastic, great brother. Peace, great brother. Minkwa Rob Mary Ma'at. I'll let you speak, great brother. Hotep. See you're back in the fur.
Yes, I am. Yes, Hotep. Hindu, great brother. Atef Rem Kim for sharing everything that you shared. I appreciated all the names of Ausar. I didn't know he had so many Rens. That was really cool. I really liked my favorite, or one of my favorites was Ausar Heru Kuti. That was one of the ones that stuck out to me. I really liked the section too that you read, and I don't know, in my mind I'm saying they were like positive confessions, things that he did not do. In the beginning of the reading, it showed the meta word for ancestor. So I really, really liked that a lot. I think it was Erpat. I liked in the reading too, it mentioned AUSET had locks. So in my mind, something like what I have. And then page 154, there was a meta word that stuck out to me as well, was Kabesu, which meant starry deities. So Hinu to the Netaru. And then the video was hard. I was conflicted about the video. I wrote down, you know, to discover things is beautiful, but I'm starting to have this thing that is brewing inside of me, and I'm trying to understand the sacred, things that are sacred, and what it means to me and how I interact and engage with the sacred. So I kind of felt like there was like disrespect of the Netaru boundaries, and this is just my own personal stuff. But the video was hard for me to see them in Ausar's space. But I do say it takes a lot of courage. These people are not afraid to go after what they want. So for them to go all the way down that deep and to be in sacred spaces like that, that's extremely courageous to do that. So Hinu, great brother, for your share, your exploration, and everything you brought forth.
Nini, a great brother. Yeah, I'm with you on that. You know, now it's under the grave robbing, and it is a total disrespect for our ancestors. Absolute. I totally agree with you. But not even but. At the same time, you know, how are we to know? You know, how are we to discern? How are we to use our discernment? Because everything is so mixed up and upside down. You know, it's so confusing. It's so confusing. But I totally agree with you. It's an absolute disrespect to invade those spaces and to dig up our ancestors, and totally it is absolutely not right at all. So I definitely understand where you're coming from, great brother. And you know, once upon a time, you know, those were really, really, really good school trips, going to the museum and just looking at the different things. But even at the same time, brother, it's not only our culture that's being decimated and put on display. It's so many other cultures of indigenous people, and so many, you know, it's just the disrespect is so widespread. And that's another reason why it's important for people to see. This is why I showed, hey, this was NBC News. This is what they said. Hey, this is Fox News. This is what's being said. This is, you know, these are quote unquote reputable news sources and outlets for information. You know, that this stuff, I use Wikipedia. You know, it's not even that we have to do a lot of digging and searching, you know, because the stuff is right there. The information is right there. You know, when Saba does his breakdowns and builds up, a lot of the stuff we're already familiar with. I used to play with the Top Gun plane. I had no idea. You know what I mean? So yeah, Tua for your great words, great brother. And that's why it's important that I read these utterances and these papyruses from our ancestors and see what they said. Right? Because a lot of people are only familiar with what Plutarch said. They're only familiar with his version of the story. They're not familiar with what the ancestors said themselves. Now, those are someone's ancestors as well. The Ptolemies, they're someone's ancestors. You understand? So it's definitely important that That what did the people say themselves? So to our great brother for your great words, I completely understand, and I'm right there with you, brother.
Yes, most definitely. So we are to be the messengers, and it is our duty to bring forth the truth. And so, in my Eid right now, I'm having a little bit of a struggle because I think, I don't know, but feel like they wouldn't have dared step foot in Netzeru spaces without invitation at all. There's no way they would have been invited into those spaces. But I'm probably wrong. I may be wrong. This is just kind of what's coming up for me. So to you, great brother, for getting the truth and showing us everything that you showed us, everything that you read us. And to you for being the messenger.
Great brother.
Yes, Hotep Henu, Ma'akaru. Posted the link in the chat if anyone would like to join us on the panel and give some words and build with us. That'll be excellent. So I'll put that link in the chat. But yes, Hotep, great brother, Tua, for going through and through this two-part presentation that you brought forth, and this Nefer reading of the information that, as you spoke about, and you speak about often, and being able to look at the information and take out what doesn't belong, but take the what's there and what's correct, and being able to utilize the ma'ah, because with the information that we have, whenever we go and we read these Egyptologists or these quote unquote experts speaking on the great ancestors, none of them actually live the life of what they're bringing forth. So just by default, it takes away their ability to be able to put themselves truly in the mindset of the ones who brought this forward, because we all understand that everything is frequency, sound, vibration, light vibration. So they look at these writings. I love how you laugh and you always bringing up the mythological. There's that word again, and how often and just how that's just quote unquote the like that's, they speak about it like that's the fact, like what they said, even though everyone dedicates their life to studying what they brought forth, they disregard what they say when it actually comes to the Natiru. But of course, we understand how religion and Christianity and the Abrahamic religions and Judaism brought forth so much Isfet matrix that it takes away one's ability to be able to understand that there is more to this existence than what we may think that we know. And the great ancestors who brought forth so much that is just unexplainable. I'm going to take their words over the person who doesn't dedicate their life as the ones who are in this book did for thousands and thousands and thousands of years to bring forth a culture, a language, medicine, mathematics at the highest level. And yes, that person that was in that video, Zahi Hawass. Yeah, that I've watched him. I've watched him find a karass, dig in it, see the Sahu sitting there, the body sitting there, and you know, we have our sacred symbols with us. Everything is sacred because everything has a purpose and a meaning that we wear. And he'll just take his hand, his little hand, and just go in there and pick it up and show it and be like, "Hey, look at this! Oh, it's gold." And I'll be like, "Why? I want it." You keep. It's very, it's extremely disrespectful. It's like, give honor and praise before you even consider walking up and engaging. It just really goes to show, you know, the lack of respect that these people, that these Egyptologists have for what they're doing. So, you know, and that's why I take the position, you know, they're going to do this. So if anybody utilizes what's brought forth, we have to correct. You know, when they bring something forward and you know, they find all of this what they call artifacts, you know, these museums, and we have to be the ones to go within these places and restore some of the aku, some of the spiritual, the energetic dua, appreciation to all that was taken, because these people are just taking, and they're not bringing and giving no type of offering at all. And I don't understand how someone can just do that. I mean, it's very mind-boggling to me. You know, if I'm walking up on an ancient people, or even it ain't gotta be ancient, it could be just someone who yesterday, and there's a body there that has made its transition. This ain't even including all of what took to preserve it, and every person was their own ka. So their Purim Harus are different. Yeah, a lot of the what they call chapters or spells are based in the what's normal, but each Purim Haru is different. Each person has their own depiction of themselves in it. Even within the chapters, there's some variation at times, and so even within their own karas and their own bodies, they brought with what was sacred and special to them. So, you know, whenever I, you know, go to different places, and yeah, just like Nukpu said, bring offerings before taking a foot in the sacred sites. Bring something, like give something. It's why it's so, you know, we know that they don't do that, but Hinu to the great Atef Rem for reading this and showing, and it, you know, causes one to think. And you know, if the right people get in the specific type of positions to utilize the technologies that they have, we can definitely advance in many different ways. But I'll point out a couple of sections of the hymns that you were reading that I just absolutely love. Just a few of them, great brother, because this was phenomenal. Let me show this. All right. And yes, Minku, I know you brought up the names, right? And here we see a netch, which of course is also what is translated to avenger, one of the names for Heru. Homage to thee, Ausar, Neb Heh, Sutin, Natiru, Ash, Renu, many of names. So it's letting it be known, many Renu. And that's why I put in my tome today the scribe, but forever, and the name changes with the times. Because as you continue to just traverse and learn and dig within yourself and find out more about yourself, and because names are sound vibration, that's why it's the mouth and the wave glyph. It's sound vibration. So that definitely has been lost in today's time, where names don't really mean anything, but we always overstood. So when we go through all the names of Ausar, there are words that have meanings and they attribute to him. So to have many names just means to just show the expansion of the vibration that you are traversing with, and that resonates with you. So that's very powerful. Cheser, Keperu, holy of creations, the sacred of that which is created. Sheta, hidden of forms. It's a beautiful, I just love the way that the Kemetians, the Remetu wrote, and how they brought forth their writings, and how they spoke about each other, and just the imbuement of you reading, you're reading this, you're speaking this, just to, imagine now, today, no one speaks tones anywhere even close to anything like this, but to even understand what these words mean, aru, and forms that which you're creating, but there's hidden forms, there's names not known, as well as that which is known. So for what that is known, there's so many. So hidden to Ausar, Anech Heruka, homage to Ausar. And here's a section that I love, and this was when I first started to read the Perm Haru, and I noticed how many words there were for light, and how it always spoke about light, and I absolutely loved that, especially in the state, in the place that I was in at the time, with combating against different dark forces, and not having a foundation to stand on, to work my way through it. So this was, when I seen this, it's absolutely phenomenal. So, he riseth on the horizon, he giveth light through the darkness, through the Kek. He shineth with light from his plumes, his shuti, and shu, here shu, light, which many will say, oh, this is just air or wind. But you see the sun there, light, which also in the hymn to Aten, we see shu is also Aten, Ra, or light. He floodeth with light the two lands like the disc, right here. And we see Aten with the hobble. So you'll see that word right there, that glyph, of course, is interchangeable with the bread loaf, which is T. So Aten, Aten. And this is actually in Nefertaten's name that she brought forth. This is actually how it's spelled with this right here, because this symbol goes back to Tehuti, the Tehut, and writing. So bounding or binding something up. So this is the disc at early sunrise. His crown pierceth heaven. He is a brother of the Seba'u, the guide of every operative by command, the Utu, the command, and here's Minku, to operate, the command, and the Metu, the word. Very powerful. Favored one of the Pa'ut. Oh, and speaking of Nefertaten, there she is, Hotep. Favored one of the Pa'ut, of the Natiru, the great Natiru, the A'at, Merer, beloved of the Pa'ut, of the Nesheset, the little. And see, I love this because this is the Or bird, and we know that Or also means great, right? Because the Neshet or the Necheset a bunch of them create something large. So it's little when it's one by itself, and then just add them all together becomes great, and then also becomes the word for elder, or very powerful. So hath made his sister his protection, Maket. Saba Tehuti gave a great teaching on the Maket or the Mak, and he brought forth and taught, because I didn't know this prior, the name of Alexander that they call the Great, or Alexander of Macedon the Third. One of his names is Mak Kemet, the protector of Kemet. So that was very powerful, and going into why it's the Mak, and I think this was in the Metanetter class about the Upesh ritual. So if you want to see what Great Saba Tehuti teaches on this word right here, Maket, email him and ask about the Upesh ritual Medu magic classes, and he goes into the Maket or the Mak, and how that is also I. So we know Nook is I, but Mak is also I, and it means to protect. And driving away foes, turning back evil, Hap, and here's Sep, which is also the word for time, as the great brother Minku Ara has been taking us through a journey of the Sep Tepi, the time before that people call pre-dynastic. We didn't have that word. It's Sep, the time of the Natiru. Shet, uttering the word, Karu. Again, the Shetet, very powerful word, which then also means the vagina as well. And it's also the word for breast. So it's a very feminine word, and then later creates Shaddai, El Shaddai. The utterance of the word, the Karu, with Ku, with Ak, with the power of her mouth. This is Auset, perfect of tongue, Akert Ness, not earring. I always love this word on, because it literally is saying no, and it means to negate something, not of speech. Operating by decree and word, Auset, the strong one. Kut, Aku, light, strong, spirits, all the words that come from the Aku, the great Mer. And this is associated with the word and how important the word is. So I love these hymns because you're speaking and you're utilizing the words of how important words are, and why the Natiru are who they are. And we, and I have a class coming up about sound vibration and going deeper into music. And so I'm going to go deeper into that. And it's very powerful. We truly need to reprogram our speech and our words and what we're using when we speak, to truly come up out of this false matrix that's been created heavily because of the language that we're speaking. Ausar Ptah Neb Ankh, I asked Saba Tehuti about this. So there's a pod class on this, and this was a very powerful pod class. And I think I initially showed it, and it might have been in my my 9 aspects of eternal life, going through the 9 different aspects, the Ren, the Ka, the Ku, the Ba, the Kaibit, or the what they call the shadow self. People always talk about shadow work. And I showed Ausar Ptah Neb Ankh, and he gave a beautiful class because I saw the similarities of Ausar. He's always in the Sahu position, right? He's always in that position of the what they call the mummification. And then when I look at Ptah, I saw the same thing. I saw Ptah in the Sahu form. So seeing this, it made me bring forth of, why is Ausar and Ptah depicted? And I've later, now deeper in my research, I've seen Ra depicted in that same form as well. I don't think I've showed that in any of my classes, but I have seen Ra depicted in Sahu. And he showed how Ptah was the first Ausar. So that was a very powerful class. So Henu to Ausar. And then, of course, this within the house of Seb or Sab, the Het Sab. He is Rach to Chetet when he speaks. He's Ra when he speaketh. When he speaks, he is Tehuti when he writeth. Very powerful, taking on these tones, these vibrations, and becoming a netter and understanding, right, the duality of the speaking and the writing, and why we bring forth, and why it's it's so important, and why Seka'u is the scribe, and Seka'u also is the memory, and Sekum, which is power. So the speaking and the writing to become Ra and Tehuti. And we also see in the Perm Haru, Tehuti and Ma'at writeth for thee every day, right? So it's very powerful. Utu is another word, just to decree, to speak. And also then creates the word for Astele as well. So those are just a couple of things I wanted to point out, because I love these what they call hymns. And just all of the beautiful information that's within these writings that we all have access to today and can utilize within our daily lives to really begin to take power of our sound vibration, which is your greatest weapon that you hold and that is always with you. So Henu to the great brother Atef Rem for bringing forth these teachings and these readings of the great Ausar and taking us through that journey. So I just wanted to speak on a couple things from there. And Hotep, Nefertaten, peace and love. Welcome to the panel.
To our great brother. To our for those beautiful words. Welcome, great sister Nefertaten.
Yes, Hotep, welcome.
Hotep, yes. When I logged in, I was getting a refresher on my own rent, so it's the never timing of what we're doing here. And yes, to Atef Rem Kem for giving a different dimension, and why it really is important that we do go back and we do study the teachings. And yes, we want to come forward and create, but we are not leaving the Natiru behind. We're not leaving the ancestors behind. So it can only be us to bring forth the Sebai and the actual words that are being said. It's extremely important. And in touching a bit on Saba's pod class yesterday about the psychosis, right? When people are having that inner battle with themselves, a lot of people, when they do that, they're like, oh, I need a reading, or I need to get a healing from somebody. And it's like, if we actually just read the Medu, it's telling us right there to not curse ourselves with our tongue, but to empower ourselves with our speech. The instructions are all laid out there. So a lot of these services and things that people are paying to these wage, spiritual buffet, I'm a little bit of this, I'm a quarter this, I'm half Orisha, I'm half Vedic. All of that is self-sufficient when we just fall back on our teachings that actually empower us. When I think of hymns, that reminds me of when I used to go to church, and hymns weren't telling me about me. It wasn't telling us about our body and the power of how we can actually use it to uplift ourselves. So it's very beautiful and very grateful for Atef to bring this essence and this part forward of the Seba'it, because a lot of people may not know how to access it, right? Or feel like Ma'ad and the Medu is only something that could be experienced in Kemet. But the Tamahu and the Egyptologists have done us a favor to bring a lot of this forward, and it's up to us to, as Ani Ptah said, add the Ma'at touch to it, because the translations don't have the full body and aspect and essence of Ma'at.
Yes, to our great sister for those words. I totally agree with you. It is up to us. It's up to us to echo the tones of our ancestors and to recognize that we are the Natiru, that the Natiru exists because that is us. It is us, and it is in the writings. It says it. It tells us who we are in the writings. So I'm honored to be able to honor those Nefer words that they left behind for us, and to be able to grow and gain and benefit from it. I'm honored and I'm eternally grateful. And the more I read this literature, the more I learn. Sometimes if you guys listen to me as I'm reading, I'm giggling, like you said, Ani, because the links and association and the neuro-linguistic processing is taking place in my brain, and I'm reading and I'm gaining because it's connecting with something Saba said or showed us in the teachings. And this is why I showed the news article and some of the diagrams and the video, because it confirmed what was in the writings, the chambers, the tunnels, the water, Wikipedia, it all lined up. You have to go back and check it out. If you missed it, it lined up perfectly. But it is disrespectful what they're doing, Minku, and you have to, for me, like Scribe said, I eat the fish and spit out the bone. I get the nourishment and I see what I can gain from it. How can I use it? How can I balance the scales out? Because right now we're not in a position to stop the archaeologists from grave robbing. But at the same time, can we benefit from what they're excavating, or what they're showing forth? There's benefit in it, and that's the beautiful thing about Ma'at. We're able to balance the scales out. But I'm confident that the Natiru will be victorious. I'm confident in the fact that justice will be rendered. I'm confident in that. I don't have faith in that. I'm confident in it because the Natiru exists. The Natiru exists, and so I'm going to continue to echo the tones of our ancestors and learn and grow. And I'm eternally grateful for our great teacher, our great Saba. And the more I read, the more I learn about, myself, Anuk Ausar. So, thanks for those great Nefer words, Nefer Tatin. Love the new Ren. Definitely fits you. And I just want to, when I first, it's Saba said it yesterday. He said that that's part of the Heka. That's part of the magic, to imbue our energy in the tones of our ancestors. That's part of the magic. And the more I read, the more I begin to understand just how powerful that is and how true that statement is. When he said it, I laughed when he said it yesterday, because I knew immediately what he was saying was so true. And the more I read, the more I begin to understand how to use the Heka, how to use the instructions, and and in what ways, and how to benefit from it, along with his classes and teachings and the Monday magic classes. It's a beautiful time that we are in, and I'm honored and I'm grateful to sit at the feet of our great teacher and learn and benefit from his wisdom, and read the stories and understand how the Natiru benefited from the wisdom of Tehuti. So Hinu to our great teacher Saba Tehuti Amenhotep Ra. Hinu to all the Natiru. Hinu to all of you great brothers and sisters in the chat, and you great brothers and great sister on the panel. We have to honor the Natiru the best way that we know how. And in honoring the Natiru, we're honoring ourselves. So.
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead, Minku Ra. Just gonna speak.
I was just gonna say, Tua Ani, you pointed out something very, very important when you read that section of the hymn to Ausar where they had they had the word Aten, which is Aten in the disc, and Aten is the capital of Greece. I've heard of Athens before, but I never made the connection to Aten. So they named the capital of Greece after Ra. And so there it is, an example again of what they do. Like, so it's like hidden in plain sight. And so if you don't know, then you know they are basking in the energy of the Netzeru, but don't give credit to the ancestors. And that's yeah. So Hindu to you, great brother, for pointing out the Medu and being the Usur and the scribe that you are.
Yes, Hindu, great brother. I'm glad that you caught that, because that's absolutely true. It's where the Aten, then of course Athena. So Hindu, great brother, for your RE. Yes, be sure you all are hitting the like button. Make sure that this is going out to where it needs to go, sharing this information and supporting the class, utilizing links. The links are pinned to the top. So if you're here and you enjoyed this particular live, this particular presentation and reading and just the build, then support us. So Tuan Hinu. And yes, the great brother Nukpu in the chat asked what would be the hymns for Medu, which of course is dua, because a hymn is it's a song of praise. So it'd be dua. That's the praise. And hymn actually goes back to Hymen, which most people don't know is a Greek word, is a Greek god of marriage, the joining together, and so that becomes the hymen of the vagina, the sewing together, the tie together. That creates hymn, but it's the dua. So the dua of Ausar. So great brother Tua for asking that question. All right, and so yeah, I'll go ahead and start to show some of the support that came through. Again, House of Aten, PayPal and Cash App. If you don't have PayPal, Cash App, you can go to houseofaten.org, hit the donate button on the website, and you will see your ability to donate. So Tua and Hinu to all the great Meru, the supporters of the House of Aten who see this information, who's here with us and say, I want to support them brothers and I want to support them sisters. You know, we see that they're building, we see what they're doing, and I want to assist with that, right? And we spoke about the reciprocity and the makaid of how people, these Egyptologists go into the sacred sites and just extract. So we know everyone who's here with us within this frequency that we're bringing forth are not extracting without presenting a hotep or hoteb, the giving and the receiving of offerings, because this is what we offer to you every Sunday. And, you know, the classes in between, like the great sisters had Monday and Tuesday, and this is an offering to you all. So Tua for everyone who reciprocates that energy. And I will show, let me pull this up for everyone so we can give our great Meru the proper dua for their support. And of course, I know we started out with Robert E. Williams Jr. for supporting the sisters in their classes. So Tuan Hinu to that great brother as well. And you can also utilize the super chat if you'd like to. We don't recommend the super chat because YouTube takes a percentage of the super chat. But some people utilize it. So if you do, we appreciate you as well. So Tua and Henu. And I will now show the screen to the lovely Angela Gates, who supports every single class, who's here with us consistently. Was very happy to see you on the panel of the pod class yesterday. Definitely love to see you come up and bring yourself forward. So Tua Angela Gates for the support of the $10 for Aten. Yes, Tua and Henu. All right, and next we have, of course, we have Anu and Antu. Fantastic Karu, members of the House of Aten, do so much for us as an organization, and I'm looking forward to Anu and the classes that he will be bringing forth as well. I know he's working on some things, and Antu as well. I know she's working on some things, so definitely look forward to Anu and Antu and what they'll bring forward, and Tua for your support and for doing just everything. It's just a beautiful thing. So Tua, so they send in $20 for Tua Hotep Henu Orsin Atef Nefer presentation. Yes, Tua and Henu, Anu and Antu, we truly appreciate you. All right, and next we have the great brother Oxafek, the calm one with the axe, who sends in 1572 for Henu Atef Rem Kemaat, Tua Henu HOA. Henu to the great brother Oxafek, very powerful brother within the House of Aten, very consistent, leads by example in every way. So Tuan Henu to you, great brother, for just always being here with us and supporting every single class, everything that we bring forward. This brother supports the Patreon, YouTube membership, everything that we bring forth at the House of Aten. You know, get your merch. If you don't have your merch, houseofaten.org, the material exists. So Tuan Henu, great brother Oxafek, for that. All right, and next we have, let's see. Yes, we have two from the great brother Nukpu. So I'll show both of these and read them. He sends in 333 for Henu Neter Atef, Henu Neter Ausar, Henu Karu Per Aten Ma'at. And he sends in another 333 for Henu Dua Neb Sin and Sinet Dua Hotep Marie E Ku Ma'at. Yes, Henu to the great brother Nukpu, who is always active within the House of Aten. So Tua, great brother, for bringing forth your ka and just always keeping everything in motion. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So Tua, great brother, and you support every class as well. And just leading by example, definitely in your studies, and we appreciate you in what you bring forth, great brother. So Tua and Henu to Nukpu. I'm not even looking at the chat, but I can almost guarantee that if I was to go to the chat right now, that Nukpu would probably be the last 5 chats. What's it look like, Atef?
Yep, that is exactly right. The last one is Dua,
some fire emojis. Mini Ook. Netter axes.
Yes.
More netter axes. Right there, that go 5. Yep.
All right. To our great brother. Yeah, Nukpu is definitely the most active Ka in the house of Aten. So Tuan Henu. All right, and let me refresh here and see. Oh yes, we have one more. Tuan Henu to all the great supporters of the house of Aten, the great Karu and Meru. And let me share the screen here. To Gabriela Lopez, who sends in 1111 for energy exchange. And we have a purple and a blue heart. Tua Atef Rem Kim Ma'at.
Come join us, House of Aten, ancient Tehuti and teachings on the Tiru. Back to the source, we the original Axemen.
And yes, the Hekau really works.
Hotep, Gabriela Lopez, Tua, for everything you're doing, your consistency, I'm consistently watching you break down matrices and replenish them with Ma'at, and you truly want the truth. You truly want the purity of the teaching. So Hinu and Tua for supporting our great brother Primordial Thought 9. Hinu to that great brother, sending much healing to him.
Spoke that Hekau on that night, and
Sabo requested that sound bite, so I had to go get it. Tua and Hinu, to you, Gabriela Lopez, we truly appreciate you. And Hotep Hinu Ma'akaru to the Mesu, the children, and the one that is being cultivated within you now. So Tua and Hinu Hotep. Hotep. All right. All right. Yes. So again, Hotep Hinu, everyone, for being here. And if anyone has anything they want to speak about before we close out, that would be great as well.
Hotep, I'll add a final piece to the build, and it's something coming forward in Ma'at I realize more and more is we've grown unaccustomed to having that creator within us to write our own story, right? We're conditioned to settle for the stories that we're taught in school or taught in religion, of just because we hear somebody say something that's the only way it can be. So again, it's a very beautiful class when we get to the root of things and we get to understand them straight from the source and not secondhand accounts. So it's a very beautiful thing. And at the same time, it's really interesting when you look at the Greeks and the Tamil, life and consciousness for humanity and on massive people is so many cultures bringing something to the table. And when you don't bring anything to the table, what do? You steal. Like, that's truly the mindset of the Tamils. They didn't bring any discipline. They didn't bring any foundational system. So they've just been stealing and thieving for centuries. So it's always wonderful to be here and to have my voice echo and be a part of a consciousness that is here to rectify things and reclaim things and bring things to conscious light, so that a lot of that thievery can truly come to an end. So know that for everyone, when you carry Ma'at, when you read the Sebai, when you're reciting the utterances, you're truly bringing a netter axe and you're cutting off the hands of those who have been stealing and profiting for a long time. But that time is coming to an end. day by day, week by week, by all of our lives and consciousness. So it's very Nefer.
Yep. Well said, great sister. I totally agree. They are benefiting from our ancestors more than we are. It's time for us to reclaim the throne. It's time for us to reclaim our set. So yeah, I totally agree with you. 100%.
All right. Yes. Hotep. I will be posting the calendar for the month of June in the Discord. I'll post it right when we close out the live so everyone can go there and have the calendar for this month. And it could update, but for now it is correct. Fridays, we will be having the Ma'at Fundamental Friday class this month in June. We'll be having them every Friday. So the 7th, 14th, 21, and 28th. I'm going to bring forth these classes every Friday of this month. So just for all the Karu, so you have that and can know because it's usually every other week. But we're going to utilize every Friday this month, and the Discord meeting for this month of June will be the 27th. And so it'll be the last Thursday of the month. It'll be the 27th. So looking forward to that as well. And yes, Pathways to Awakening. I want to speak about that so everyone can keep that at the forefront. We want this Pathways to be we want as many people out as possible that can come to the Pathways. So I know many may need some Heka'u, so we're going to utilize the Heka'u to bring that forward for many of you. So Tua, it'll be in October, and the great brother Minkwah Rob Mary Ma'at is always coming up with some beautiful things. So it's going to be fire and phenomenal. I don't know what we might be doing or creating out there, but we're going to be creating. So everyone set your calendar for October. It'll be the end towards October. We'll have a date for you next month, most likely. So just everyone keep that in mind. And I think that is it. houseofaten.org, atentehuti.com for the tones, for the music. Go support the music. And yeah, I'll go ahead and close out. We'll start with you, Nefertatan, and then we'll work our way up. I'll go to Minku, and then me, and then Atef.
Okay, Hotep, everybody. It's always wonderful to know that Ma'at is something that lives even after these streams and after these broadcasts. So it's a very beautiful thing. Very fortunate for Atef again for bringing light to Ausar, the not so sleeping one who has so many names, and it's even beautiful in his own hymn that his Hemet AUSET is mentioned. That is the beauty of family and life coming forward. So may that light and life continue to come forward for everyone. Dua.
Peace and love, Hotep and Hinu, Kes to the Netaru, supreme adoration to our master teacher, Saba Tehuti, Hotep Hinu to everybody on the panel, Nefer Marie to all the beautiful Maru, and to all those in the chat, to the new folks that are with us. Hinu to Atef for definitely holding up the Netaru Ausar, the Neter Ausar, and his Neterts. And I will close with the adoration to Tehuti. Come to me, Tehuti, O noble ibis. Come to me and give me counsel, to make me skillful in your calling. He who masters it is found fit to hold office. Fate and fortune are to be found with you. Inu Hotep.
Very nefer. Hotep Hinu Ma'akaru, everyone, Tua. For everyone who's here with us live and everyone who watches on the playback. And definitely want to give dua to everyone who supports. And it's just a beautiful thing. So definitely dua to all the great Maru and Kuru. Want to give Hinu to our great Saba Tehuti, Amenhotep Ra, and to his Aut, his Neterets, as well as his animals that help him. He stated that, you know, they are his master teachers. So Hinu to everyone and every conscious Aku being that has assisted in creating the great Saba Tehuti. Hinu and Tua to the Pa'ut, to the great ancestors and those who walk with us daily as we traverse through this matrix and work our way out of it. Tua and Hinu to the great Pa'ut, the Ord Pa'ut. And Tua for your attention. Without your attention, this can never exist. So Hinu and Tua for your attention. Sakim im Arit, Merdert Ka'a, Simu Hatu Natiru, Pert Int Hetep. I obtain the power to do what pleases my Ka. May the hearts of the Natiru lead me. I come forth in peace. Hinu.
Hotep, peace and love to the chat. Peace and love to the Natiru. May they be pleased with my tones and my energy and my effort, my karma. Hotep Hinu to everyone in the chat that supports. The wonderful brothers and sisters. I see we have HI Human Intelligence. I don't know that name. But if you're new, welcome. Hotep Hinu to Nukpu, of course. To the great Sister Angela Gates, Gabrielle Lopez, Primordial Thought. All the great brothers and sisters, all the great supporters.
Just call that Sister Gabrielle Union.
Gabrielle Union, yes. Hey, listen, because I was trying to say Primordial and Gabrielle at the same time. So, Hinu to your union, great brother and sister. You know, that learning the heck out, right? Learning the Medu, it changes the way that we think. The English it messes it up. So the more I read the Medu, the understanding becomes greater. But yeah, Hinu to you, great sister and brother, and to your union and to your great child that you will bring forth. All the supporters, everyone that's going to run this back on the replay, Hotep Hinu. And we will end this as we begin with our beautiful affirmation. From today's reading, homage to thee, Osiris, Lord of eternity, King of the Natiru, many of names, holy of creations, hidden of forms in the temples, whose Ka is venerated, chief of Tatu, great one, contained in the temple of Sekhem. His crown pierceth heaven. He is a brother of the star gods, the guide of God every, operative by command and word, favored one of the Puat, of the gods great, beloved of the Puat, of the gods little. He hath made the earth in his hand, its waters, its air, its green herbs, its cattle, all its birds, all its fishes, all its reptiles. The desert is by right to the son of Nut. The two lands are content to crown on the thorn of the father like Ra. Unki Ema'at, Un-N-S, Nintet Auset Ema'at, Min Hapapet Ema'at, Her Inhu Per Ikut. I live for Ma'at. I exist within her. I do not speak in the place of Ma'at. Every day I advance towards Ma'at. My being is surrounded in darkness. I come forth as conscious light.
Neb Nefer Unk. Everything is beautiful in life.
And yes, the Hekau really works.
Yo, let's go.
Closed my eyes, then I woke up back in my bed. I could see my room as clear as looking through a lens. See, I thought I was awake, so then I tried to move, but my body shocked me like I was plugged in a socket. I started panicking and scrambling within my mental. I thought I died and now my body, I'm forever locked in. I was screaming, help me, someone help me please. But there wasn't any sound making it through my teeth. I could see movement in motion, shadows gather around me. How could I close my eyes already closed. Eating alkaline at this time, fasting reads so shocking. I was stuck in a paralysis, it had me froze. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. I finally started waking up and coming back. I was in the opposite of state's effect. That's relaxed, I grabbed my phone and started to do research. Knowledge of what happened, I was in a lack. Insidious, the movie came direct to mind. Every time I've seen this, it was connected to what's not divine. Demons crawling forcefully, holding the body down. Ain't no point in trying to scream, you will not make a sound. Deep within, I knew I made that a reality. The all is mine, I saw it, and so shall it be. I start replacing fear with knowing universe is mental. Talking to my subconscious to wake me up in dreams. Then one day my spirit guides came in so essential. Daylight's astral playing loud in my dream helped to set me free. I'm back in paralysis, laying on my couch. But this time I was calm, ready to exit out. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. From what I read, I need to move my arms in front of me. See a rope and pull it, separate and then release. Now I'm out, I see my house is gleaming, I accept it. Looking in the mirror, staring at my car's reflection. I was so ecstatic, flying in every direction. This was months of subconscious reprogramming and redirection. Place my thoughts in my body, wake up, that's what I did. I was reborn from that day so I could start to live. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed.